we're going to do what they call in the business a series. That's when you got a line.
Just say it over and over.
That's when you got a line, see? And then you say it over and over again. Like you do a series instead of waiting to do it. Instead of someone says action, you say the word. You say go or whatever. And then you say it a few times in a row as a series.
To see which one's better.
Yeah, that way you get to choose. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Here's a series of such a good one. Go.
Such a good one.
See, you don't speak until I stop speaking, because otherwise it's unusable. See? All right. So we're going to do it again. We're going to do it like a Wayne's World style. And in 3.
Such a good one. Such a good one. Such a good one.
Well, that's enough of that.
Okay.
Such a good one.
And now you can say, so if you like movies, give me a series where you say, so if you like movies, say it a few different ways, 3 times in a row.
So if you like movies, so if you like movies, so if you like movies.
Now do it like my cousin Vinny.
So if you like movies.
Okay. Now do it like Mary McDonald and sneakers. Fail. You know that kinship you feel when someone gets the obscure movie quote you tossed out in a conversation?
This is my art, and it is dangerous. It is dangerous.
Welcome to Such a Good One, a podcast where 2 siblings bond over their unabashed love for the movies they grew up on. I'm Josh Cook.
And I'm Jessi Cook.
Come digress with us.
You know what I think is funny? You ever do something and you don't think it's gross at all, and then someone else does it and you realize how gross it is? 2 things. Okay, so the other night I burp all the time and Mom always goes, Jessi, please. But I do it, and I do it.
But I do it.
I do it super loud, like it's a contest. And then when Keelan was over the other night, she did it, and my gut punch reaction was, ew. And then I was like, oh no. The best one, though, is I like to...
You sound like a political party. You're fine when you do it, but you're very angry when someone else does.
Naughty hotels.
Naughty hotels?
People do
what are you talking about?
People do things in hotels when they're in the politics. Anyway, you interrupted my thing. So I like sauces. So often, like, if before food...
Ow!
What?
Oh, my head!
What? What?
Burping and then naughty hotels and then sauces. What the hell is happening?
I'm trying to tell you. No, this is a thing that I do that is disgusting that I didn't know was disgusting. So I'll like, okay, like in the dim sum place I love, I'll lick my finger and put it in the sauce and like eat it. Like I'll eat the sauce. I'll do that with wasabi. I'll do that with like other whatever. And
to test it?
No, just to enjoy it. Like I'm hungry and I'm waiting for the food.
Like if your food was finished, you would still eat the sauce.
No, the food hasn't arrived yet or it's gone. And I'm like, God, that sauce is good. And I'll just keep eating it with my finger, which I didn't think about until one day I was at school and I was sitting with my students and somebody in the cafeteria, someone that was working there, had a little, those little cream cheese containers, a little plastic one. And she was dipping her finger in and like sucking it off her finger. And I was like, that's disgusting.
It's not great.
And I didn't stop though. I just kept doing it. I don't care. But now I know how gross it is.
Yeah, it's gross. And you're just like, I don't care.
But the sauce is very good. What's worse though? Taking a spoon in the sauce and then like drinking it like a soup?
I thought.
Don't do it.
Maybe you had, I don't know.
Just don't do
rice?
It. Oh, I don't like that. I like rice. I just don't feel the need to dip it in it's a whole, that's rice with sauce. That's not just.
Well, listen, let me say this. Sauce,
like a fine ponzu.
I am not a fan of all of that, but especially this. And I don't understand this. And I have people in my family, I'm not talking about you.
Really?
There are people who do this for some reason. I don't even want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Do they rub stuff on their teeth?
No. It's a finger thing, but I'm going to do this just to explain. If you had, let's say you're eating wings. Let's say you're eating hot wings, for instance, or just anything that's like, I don't know, maybe greasy or something like that, right?
I just pictured Mad Mardigan.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's exactly right. If you're eating something and you have stuff in your hand, and for some reason, I don't know, your napkin has fallen to the depths and you couldn't possibly reach it. Let's say you had to get it off with your
Phalanges?
mouth rather than
Oh, okay.
phalanges.
I think a phalange is a finger bone. I don't really know. Though.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's say you had to do that. Here's how one would do it, and I'm going to demonstrate for the purposes of this.
Okay.
Something's on my finger. I need to get it off.
Yeah.
Listen. You didn't hear anything.
No.
Here's the other way that they do it. And I don't understand. Okay. They go, I have people that do this in this family. And it's like,
ew.
oh, gross!
Well, you have that.
No!
What's it called? What's the thing with the food? Where just something with the.
I don't know what it's called, but it's chewing, and I can't take it. I cannot. And actually, you sent me that clip from Phantom Thread that God was so. You sent me that clip with Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm pretty sure it's Phantom Thread.
Oh yeah.
And
he's just
she's
appalled.
eating, and he's just like.
That was like me the other night. And that's
so great.
But it goes along with the fact that especially when you're mad at someone and they're eating, like people they chew and they make noise, and it's maybe you notice it, maybe you don't. But if you're annoyed with someone already and they do it, you're like, I'm gonna kill you.
That's true. But you know what? All this is heightened by. Hold on a second. I have a stop, but I want to finish. I want to just rage about this a little more.
Okay.
Please stop making so much sound with your fingers. You can do this. Or you could do this.
Okay. So
why this? I don't understand. So I just wanted to finish raging about that.
I also
want to
thank you for trying to demonstrate quietly licking your fingers.
I know.
It looked gross, and I also could hear.
I know. I'm unhappy, but the thing is because I'm mic'd.
Now,
if I were sitting across the table from you would never hear a thing.
Delicious.
No, gross.
Just once.
No.
I don't do that.
There's no need for smacking.
You know what's really
with
gross?
food.
When someone does this. And then they pick it from one of their
was that?
fingernails. Like they do that, but then they like run their little toothies or their tongue under their finger. I made it up. I don't actually know.
But the other thing I was going to say was this.
It's disgusting.
It goes along with the food thing. So what happens is it's true. I am like oddly sensitive to that.
A lot
those
of people
sounds.
are.
And so one thing that it alleviates it is music. If I have something to focus on, I don't really hear it as much. And so, I think this is probably because Dad always had music.
I
playing
cannot
in the
have
house.
dinner without music.
I can't either.
It's
but by
so
the way,
stressful.
why does anybody like any event is made better with music playing in the background?
Every time I have people over and the music's not on, and no one cares. Like every party I go
don't
to,
understand.
no one has music on.
I don't understand
and
it.
I have to fight not to do the mom thing at someone else's party and be like, "Do we have any music we can put on?" Like steal flowers from their garden and make an
different.
arrangement.
That's a little different. To say, hey, do you have a record player or a stereo? We can put some music on. That's a little different because Mom will like literally rearrange people's flowers. Or the one time she was at Tim's house in California, she came to me and was like, "Does Tim have any candles?" And I was like, I don't live here. And then she went and found candles and put them out and lit them. And I was like, I don't know what's happening.
She got mad at me once not for like dusting the TV stand, and she left her initials in it, which I thought was a baller move.
Wow.
She didn't even fix it. She just put HBC.
That's intense.
I've never experienced having dinner with anyone at their house and music playing.
I know.
Ever.
It's
and you just hear the silverware on the plate.
Confusing.
It's weird.
I was at in lunch. I always will have some kind of music, low, not like loud. It's low level. It's just a background noise, and it's because of Dad. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it because I always feel like it's live there, and also it takes the pressure off of any.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about this. This is a PSA. I feel like we're doing here.
Yeah.
Put some music on.
Put the music on.
So, because the thing is, like, you know what will happen? Most people will relate to this. You know, you sit down and you eat, and the food comes out, and everyone starts eating, whether you're at someone's house or whatever, and you're hearing the chewing and the silverware, and inevitably, there's that one person who goes, "We're all just eating."
Well, no, they go, well, you can tell the food's here. You can tell everyone's hungry.
Yeah, there's someone who's got to, and what they're doing is pointing to the fact that it's oddly quiet and we're all just eating. That wouldn't happen, I'm pretty sure,
No, it would not.
if there's music, because that never really happens.
Or you could be like me.
when I have people
and
over.
I've done this multiple times. At the other night,
Because I have music on.
John's family was over and there was no music. Actually, it wasn't just his family. It was a bunch of people. And I said, can we put music on so this is less awkward and quiet?
It's so awkward. And you know
It's
what?
so
Let me ask
awkward.
you this. And any time that you've done that, because I've actually never done that. I've just,
And in a store.
I figure
So
it's, oh gosh, that's the
It's
thing
like
that's,
you don't want
that's
like
brutal.
when you're in there.
No, but like Alicia in her store,
I'll
she
leave.
always has like that kind of like, 30s, 40s kind
Great.
of swing
Love
or
it.
big band music, which I love, and we both love, and so it's really lovely in there, and it's kind of a background. It fits with her sort of apothecary vibe of the place, and that's nice. It's not overpowering by any means. But it's also like you don't like people come in and they're like, "Hi, let me know if you have any questions," and they're like, "Okay," and they walk off.
That's
but
it.
if you walk into a store and there's no music, "Hi, let me know if you have any questions."
And then all you feel like is that they're
Okay.
staring at you. And it's like that white people hiking. We're like, hi, hi. But it's like
so
that. You go
true.
to a store.
Oh,
I
it's
move
so true.
slower. I'm like, hello, hi. Let me know if you need. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like touching the racks very quietly. And I'm like, please, you could put on smooth jazz.
Anything.
But you know what? They play a lot of Basha in Michael's. I know
Get
that.
out
Swear to
of
God.
the immediate vicinity. Are you
Wait,
kidding me?
What's that famous one? The Basha songs. Anyway, our dad listens to a singer named Basha.
What is
I don't know, but it's what's really messed up though is that like I enjoy it for the memory of it. But anyway,
That's it.
oh yeah,
It's no dolphin smiles.
you're just making that up. But do you like how every time it's on, I'm like, Dad, is this dolphin smiles? And he's like, Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what? I'd rather have that than clink, clink,
Always.
clink,
Oh,
clink,
I will
clink.
listen to the worst, all of Dad's worst music. I will gladly
Now,
listen to.
We say it's Dad, but when I say like, can we put music on or can we do this? John goes, oh, that's because you're mom and you like to make sure everyone's having a good time. And I'm like, no, I like to make
God
sure
forbid.
I'm comfortable.
God forbid everyone has a good time. It really does. I think it's like it's like a social safety net.
It is.
Is music in the background?
It is. It's like
It's a social safety net.
because even if you have nothing to say, oh wait, I have a thing about that. Even if you have nothing to say, you could be like, oh, I love this album, or oh, this is nice, something. That's like I think why a lot of people smoked in high school because they felt weird, like in theater, because they were socially awkward. And when you walked outside, you were doing something in common. I can tell you're not agreeing with
No,
what
I
I'm
mean
saying.
that's what
Oh, okay,
smoking
never
has
mind.
always been. It's like a
It's
social
a social
thing.
like, hey, how you doing?
That's what a lot of drinking is too.
Oh yeah, that was pretty obvious what I just said then.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like a unique thought.
There's that.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do the quotations game first.
Anything interesting happen to you or anything happen in Pennsylvania this week? Any interesting assassination attempts or anything?
I thought we weren't allowed to talk about that.
Well, we are talking about these things because we're talking about Dave.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
all ties in because Dave is so good.
And he
Dave
almost-
is
well-
such a good. No, it's
Well, he
not. It
doesn't
doesn't tie in
almost-
because of an assassination attempt. It
No,
ties
because he
in-
asked Ving Rhames about. Would you take a bullet for me?
Okay, fine. You can say it ties in. I'm just saying it because
Presidents.
watching Dave. I bring this up because
Dave Kovak for president.
when I mentioned, first of all, you
Kovik.
say you love Dave.
Kovik.
I love Dave. You didn't know that I liked it, but I
know.
love
I don't
it.
understand.
And
Oklahoma.
when I mentioned it, you were kind of like, "Huh." And then like,
I love
And
it.
this week had to push this recording several times for a variety of reasons. And then like one time I saw you, well, after we pushed, you were like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm like, about Dave? What are you talking about?
I love Dave.
So what was the trip? Because I'll tell you, watching it for me, it was
know.
it was very poignant
Well, it's
because
very
right now,
poignant.
again, who knows when anyone listens to this, but it's like, we're, what?
I'm not going to say it out loud. Mhm.
It's like we're in the middle of this. The 2024 Republican National Convention is happening right now as we record, and we are. It's just like the way and everyone and there was an assassination attempt at Trump in our home state a few days ago, and there was just. And so now what's going on right now is that there's the whole national, like the news, everything is all like, we need to tone down the rhetoric.
Well,
we need to calm down everybody. And it's like, well, yeah, you've all been crazy for so long.
I
and
like that they just figured that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
that's
hence
right.
the reason of Dave is it's this big question of character and morality. And,
that's what I'm
a return
saying.
to actual values.
Well, the thing is, it's wildly idealistic. It's the thing that Aaron Sorkin's always accused of. Not that he's involved in this in any way.
The part when the guy never mind. Oh wait.
When the guy what?
But when he brings his friend in and they're crunching the numbers and you're like, why can't it
he
just
brings his friend? Do you mean the great Charles Grodin?
Yeah, he brings him in and they're crunching numbers and you think, why couldn't it just be like that? It's like that scene in The West Wing with Sam and the intern.
Yeah. You notice how you're not talking into the mic anymore? You see how the volume goes away when you are like this?
I can't hear it.
Yeah. Hello! I'm not speaking anymore!
My brother Josh has been on the television and on the movie thing like 1,000 times. You have had a microphone up in your face. You've done all sorts of stuff.
When you're on TV, you don't look like this with a microphone.
Well, I know,
in your face.
but you've been on the thing with Sorsha. You went on that radio play thing with Sorsha. Tell me her name again. I love her, but what's her name? What's her name? Psst.
Joanne Whaley.
Let me see. Let me see. Okay, anyway.
She was my first love.
You told me you wanted to marry. Oh, yeah. Well, she's gorgeous in that movie.
Stunning.
She's a beautiful woman.
She's a beautiful woman.
If you're listening,
Still
we'd love to meet you.
I did meet her. I worked with her.
I would love to meet her. I'd love to meet a lot of famous people that you just mingle with in your life.
She was playing Lady Macbeth in the radio play that we did.
That's weird.
She played Lady M.
You didn't tell her about that we love Will. You didn't tell her that it basically made up our entire childhood.
I couldn't talk to her.
Why not? Because you were scared?
No,
Did we talk about when you met George Clooney
no.
and how I wanted to smack you across the face?
Why is it that when I meet someone that you want to meet, you want to physically hurt me in some way?
Because one, I'm jealous.
Okay.
Two, you're so aggressively polite. So he comes up to you in I want to say the Geffen. It was a playhouse. Was it Geffen?
Oh no.
Okay, I just made that up. I don't know.
It was outside of a terrible play. It's a whole longer story. Did you want me to tell you what the story is now? It's very funny.
Wait, does it involve him? Because my story is about him, and that's more interesting.
What's your part of it?
Nothing. Basically, that he came up to you and was talking to you, and you talked for a minute, and then instead of continuing to talk to him and telling him about your sister, you were like, well, you were like, I gotta get going, or you like walked away and left the conversation.
No. I was doing this kind of infamous play in Los Angeles. So it was a production, I should say. It was so the old Tamarind Theater, which became the UCB Theater, which I don't know if it still is. It's across from the Celebrity Scientology Center.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
And
Science.
This crazy dude whose name was Francesco Vitali, I believe his name was. He, I think, bought the theater. Was it Tamarind?
Is he alive?
Yes, I think. And then my friend Brian Crano, who
I
went to
Scotland.
I went to UCLA with, and we wrote a musical together. And then he went to I wrote a play of his in the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, and he was doing this production with this British director. His name was Aaron something. I don't know what happened to him. And it was so this guy Francesco paid for this whole thing. It was like he put billboards up of his face all over the city.
Why?
Because it was a vanity project. It was a vanity project. He had an accent like this.
Ooh,
no one really knew where he was from.
Oh.
And he was not an actor. So he was playing Hamlet.
Wait, he wasn't an actor?
No. Well, he thought he was. I don't know. He put up thousands of dollars for this weird little production of Hamlet. And I was only doing it because I wanted to do the music for it. I've always loved doing music. So I was doing the score for this because Brian asked me to. Somewhere along the way, I got roped into being Laertes. So I was doing that. Anyway, where this gets to with Clooney, at the time, Clooney was producing a show with his producing partner, Grant Heslov, I think, who's the guy in True Lies in the van with Tom Arnold.
That's him?
His producing partner, yeah.
That's so crazy.
So
Faisal.
They were producing this show called Unscripted for HBO at the time, and it was about actors trying to make it in Hollywood. What they did is one of the characters, whose name I'm blanking on, but she's a really well-known actress. She was coming to they wanted a scene of her rehearsing a play. Somehow they found this production going on at the Tamarind Theater. And so they basically asked if they could put her in as Ophelia for an afternoon and just like pretend like she's part of the production.
Sorry for yourself.
And so they shot it like she was in this production and we just were all there. So Clooney shows up on his motorcycle.
Whoa.
And then he comes in, he comes in and he was like, I'll never forget this. He came in, there must have been 30 people in that room. He
found you.
He said hello and shook everyone's hand and said hi to every single person. And he said goodbye to them all by name when he left, which is like a crazy trick, or at least that's my memory of it. So anyway, the reason I spoke to him was I went up to him because I had just gotten committed, my first series. And I was panicking because this show was a train wreck. And I was like, how am I going to get out of this? Like I felt bad and like loyal, and how am I'm going to shoot this pilot? And like, I don't want to be associated with the show. This show is a disaster. And so I went out and I don't know why, but I was like, cause he was on NBC forever and my show was on NBC. And I was like, hey, I was wondering if I could just ask you a question real quick. And I was like, I just got this show. I got this pilot and I'm going to be, and I think I was just trying to ask him like, I think I was trying to say, I think I basically was like trying to vaguely ask him for advice of what to do in this situation, but I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't get the words out. And he basically, I don't think he believed that I had a pilot. I think he thought like I was just a guy who was like, I'm going to be on TV one day. I was wondering if you could give me some advice. But he was super nice. But I don't remember exactly what he said because I also felt like bad. Because I thought the idea was good to ask him, but then as soon as he turned around and we were outside by his bike, I was like, "Oh, I don't know what to say now. This is a bad idea." Because and he was like, he was very kind. Whatever it is he said, I'm sure he was just like, "Oh, just keep going," and blah 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 and whatever. But it was very sweet. But I didn't know how to suddenly phrase like, "Hey, I'm in this nightmare of a production. I think it's gonna tank and it's gonna be super embarrassing. But I'm gonna be doing this pilot. But I don't want to." It was a mess. It was so weird. But he was very very kind.
That sounds like one of my stories. First of all, that's not at all my memory or what you told me. So. First of all, good job for finally thinking you could ask someone something. That's not a Josh move. You never want to bother anyone.
I know. I don't ever want to bother
You never want a favor. You never want to ever. That's cute.
I have to do a better job of staying on track because you got me all distracted and I told a long story that I'm probably going to cut.
Anyone that likes movies has already left.
Yeah. So the thing is, Dave, in this, especially this political moment that we are actually living through right now, it's so, and I what I was saying was that Aaron Sorkin always, he did not write this, but Aaron Sorkin
Genius.
Is sort of in this category where he gets kind of lambasted, I think, a lot for being so idealistic.
West Wing, right?
With West Wing, with American President.
Best show ever made.
And then you have, and then in the same category, something like Dave.
God forbid you're idealistic.
Yeah, I know, but critics always ding these people for being idealistic, whatever, or Sorkin, and the thing is, watching Dave, it's like I felt really like I felt so jealous and envious. I was like, you wish. I mean, we've talked before, I think, about different kinds of movies, and one of the biggest kinds of movies that's always super successful are wish fulfillment movies, and this is like, I think, a pretty ultimate wish fulfillment movie where like just a regular person all of a sudden becomes the most powerful person in the world
and wields the power in a beautiful poetic way.
Well, that's the thing. It's what's so nice in watching this movie. I mean, for those of you who don't know, the log line is what it's basically about is that Kevin Kline plays this guy Dave Kovak, who he runs an employment agency, a very small employment agency.
And on Wednesdays, we work.
Yeah. And he also happens to look exactly like the president of the United States, who Kevin Kline also plays.
It's his twin.
And so
I'm just kidding.
Kovak he does these sort of like silly appearances as the president, like he opens like a car dealership or whatever. And then the Secret Service finds him and they ask him to body double for the president, but then something ends up happening to the president, and then these very evil people on the
is that chief of staff?
Yeah, I think it's chief of staff don't want to let go of the power, so they want him to stay on, and so they kind of pretend that he's president. That's sort of the premise of the movie. It's a comedy, obviously. I think, obviously. Maybe not.
Yeah.
You could do a serious version of that.
Yeah.
But it is it's 1993. It's Sigourney Weaver, who is wonderful.
Amazing.
Kevin Kline, brilliant.
Awesome.
Frank
Fishbowl
Langella,
Wanda.
who is just perfect as that like evil, awful political.
I don't mean to insult him because I
guy.
love him, but he kind of gives me vibes from that mean rat from The Secret of Nim. It does.
Well, I mean, honestly,
Ouch.
that maybe was him. I don't know. It could have been him.
Where's my phone? I want
Possibly.
Can you look it up? All right, never mind.
I'm looking it up right now.
Look it up on your
so it's
hand computer.
Also Kevin Dunn, who's so great as one of the other staffers, and then early Ving Rhames appearance.
Love him.
Pre-Pulp Fiction, I
feel
think.
like
Actually, it was the year before Pulp Fiction, I believe. Which, by the way,
That was my foot.
what is happening with all the electricity right now?
Look, there's a storm.
Oh, is that what it is?
Wow, we're gonna need to cut a lot out. That's some serious lightning. My windows are open.
Of your car?
I think so. Screw it.
You better go.
Nah,
you
sorry.
better go fix that.
Nah, it's fine.
I think you should probably go fix that.
I don't care.
I can cut it out.
I don't care.
Apparently, there's 70 mile per winds coming in hail. 70 mile per hour winds coming in hail. So you might want to go check your
All right.
car windows. So let's
Yeah,
see.
of course.
New York Times from 1993 says that when Dave Kovak finds Secret Service agents in his living room, he thinks their presence must have something to do with tax returns. He's much to what the heck was that?
That's his reaction when it sees the bills on his table before he sees
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Before he sees them.
I'm gonna wait.
Audiences may feel otherwise, which is the joke at the heart of Dave Ivan Reitman's glossy, energetic, new Washington comedy, which is a nice thing. If President Mitchell is cynical enough to have his pets on call for photo opportunities and turn them over to handlers immediately after the camera stops flashing, then a Dave might just be invaluable. That is, once he stops looking around the White House in astonishment and trying to take up souvenirs. Harks back to uplifting little guy movies of Frank Capra's day. It's very much a creation of its own more media-mad time. This is 1993. In the age of the photo op, this film maintains looking presidential may be the most crucial of all political talents. The best part of Dave is this get-acquainted period, which is fast-paced and mischievous in its view of the White House intrigue. The opening hour is so entertaining, in fact, that it's possible to pinpoint the exact moment at which the film takes a wrong turn.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, I kind of want to guess, but I don't want to waste
Take
time.
a guess, because I don't think it's right. I think this person's wrong.
Takes a wrong turn. I don't know.
This happens during a fireside chat between Dave and the First Lady as Miss Weaver abandons her character's formerly lofty manner to reveal a romantic side. And blah, 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 blah,
Okay.
blah, film stuff. As she and President Dave strike up a new friendship, the film moves from lively satire to sentimentality and even to voyeurism of the Charles and Diana kind. I don't buy it.
Whoa.
Behind the facades of power, the film reveals there are lonely, pent-up people who yearn desperately to live normally and fall in love. See, I don't think that's at all what it's saying. I don't think they're like, look, just the president, they're lonely too. I don't think that's it.
I don't know that that's at the centerfold of it. I think it was sweet and entertaining, and he has a very innocent quality throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
So the fact that he could sort of, she's so shocked by how he is, that the fact that
and not only that, the music is so sweet with it.
It is very-
Ba-da-da-da. It's like I actually, that's one of the things I wrote down first. In spite of this sogginess.
whoa, soggy.
Shots fired, and despite a self-congratulatory do-gooder streak that the film discovers within Dave, this comedy, I like that, self-congratulatory do-gooder streak. They're saying that's not a good thing. This comedy remains bright and buoyant much of the way through. So they're basically saying, they also talk about Charles Grodin popping up. It's amazing. Dave, a big confident film. This is very funny. Dave, a big confident film with a strong sense of its own commercial destiny, includes a long list of cameo players, only a few of whom
Ben Kingsley.
are cleverly used. Also in the cast, this is my favorite. Also in the cast, and unaccountably given near cameo status, is Faith Prince, the enchanting Miss Adelaide of Broadway's Guys and Dolls, who appears as a worker at the temporary employment agency headed by Dave. Just as the viewer is settling in to enjoy this actress's irresistible presence, she's gone. That's the end of the review. And you're like,
Was she the one that was like,
She's the
I
one
used
with
to
the-
work on the IBM? Is
She's
that
the one with the red hair. No.
Oh, her, I
Yeah,
love
the
her.
one who works at the.
She's there, just not enough.
No,
We
she's
love
only.
her.
That's but what I'm saying is like she got more mention in this this review than even Kevin Kline did.
Well, the thing is,
this
like,
guy
if
is whoever this writer was like clearly
And-
in love with Faith Prince. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Janet Maslin, very famous.
Was that when Laura Linney? That was like one of her first, or like She's
oh right,
so
Laura
young.
Linney, very early. Laura Linney,
So young.
yeah. Early Laura Linney as the slut.
As Monica. I don't want to
Was
say.
that has that already happened? What year was that? What year was? Well,
Let's not
no,
make
go.
ourselves look dumb.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember
I'll
exact
Google
dates
it.
of. I look up these dates. I don't know what I'm talking about. You look it up while I do this. The movie starts, and immediately the music is like this quintessential '90s soundtrack, which is like this It's like this waltz time, 3/4 time, pizzicato strings. You know, it's like
No,
this
I
very
don't.
plucky.
What is that?
Well,
It just
I-
reminded me of Hocus Pocus when I was like do 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 dun 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 dun. Is that Dave? Or is that Hocus Pocus?
Oh. I don't think it was either one of them. But Dave was but there's a I can't remember the exact music from. I remember like only one kind of the main theme from it, which is a more of a sweeping kind of arco string, but like this
Way
is
before.
Oh, this is oh wow.
I also Googled a scandal. I spelled it with an A in front of it. A scandal.
So quintessential 90s music. It's already kind of hopeful and bouncy and jovial. It kind of feels that way. Ivan Reitman directing, amazing cast. We talked about that. Anna Devere Smith. And then it's like all these shots of DC. You're flying over DC, all this kind of stuff, and then the presidential helicopter lands. President Mitchell, who Kevin Kline plays, steps out. Sigourney Weaver's with him right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they split.
The president first lady, they walk out. Someone walks up. I think a Marine walks up and gives them his two little dogs. He takes it to, and they're walking, waving. All the press is taking pictures. And they walk in the White House. And as soon as they do, he throws the leashes. Someone takes the dogs.
I never noticed that.
He like tosses the leashes. Someone takes the dogs away, and they split. They go opposite directions. They don't say a word to each other. And it's such a great transition. I love it when, good films, and Reitman, was such a great director. Like that when you get the whole story visually. You've seen this grand entrance, and then the moment they're in private, boom! It's like you get everything about their relationship immediately.
Which is like a classic view of politics, whereas it's the facade.
It's all the facade.
It's all the facade.
Exactly. That's what the review is saying, and I think it is true in that way. Then we see very, very young Laura Linney. It's got to be one of her earlier roles. And she and the president are clearly, there's something going on there.
And it's so obvious too. You gotta wonder, like she's like, "Hi, Mr. President." She like hugs him. You gotta wonder if everyone in the office isn't like, but obviously
I'm sure
they
all know.
show
But
that.
but that's what I kind of love about this kind of movie is that it knows exactly what it is. Just like the review said, it knows what it's like. It's something about its commercial destiny or whatever. And it's like everyone knows what this movie is. And it is a kind of I think Roger Ebert had said it's like a light entertainment.
Well, and that also,
which it is, and it's
also,
great.
There's no need to lend a lot of weight to it because while it's important to show him what a lech he is, that's not the point. It's just.
But again, in this kind of movie, which is a big comedy commercial movie when they used to make movies like this, it's like in the first few minutes you've got all these pictures of DC, which is sort of like the obligatory like credit sequence. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as I don't think the credits are even over yet, as soon as characters come on screen, you are within, I think it's under 2 minutes. They've got out of a helicopter, walk in, you see what their relationship is, you meet Laura Linney, you know exactly what their relationship is. Within 2 minutes, you've figured out who this president is, what he's about.
Yeah.
and there's been maybe like a handful of lines of dialogue. It's a great economy of action.
Wonderful economy with words, Gloria.
Words. I wed you next syllable with great eagerness. And then it cuts to the car sales, the car dealership with Stephen Root is the guy who's announcing Stephen Root from 1.5 billion things.
Huh. I never noticed that, and I'm very good at picking out people.
Perhaps most, well, not maybe most. It's impossible to say most notably with Stephen Root, but one of his most famous roles is from Office Space. My stapler took my stapler.
Oh my gosh, he is in everything.
Oh, everything.
That's a good name.
He's so great.
Root.
But I didn't realize, and he's in it. This has to be one of his earlier things too, because he's in it for like a minute. Like that's it. And then so he's like, I guess it's his car dealership. He's like, come on down. He's like, and here we go to announce our wonderful sales. It's President Mitchell. And Kevin Kline rides out on a pig,
Like a giant. Yeah.
and then there's that little girl in the audience.
Is that the president? God, I hope not.
Yeah. So Kevin Kline is playing this character Dave Kovak, who we've talked about. It looks just like President Mitchell, so he does these impersonating gigs and gets like $10 for it or something.
Okay, so in terms of the way he looks, kind of ruffled and all shook up, and he runs this employment agency. This reminds me of, oh my God, that brilliant comedian whose name I can't remember. Who's like, it makes no sense. Who is that?
Pete. Holmes.
Oh my God. Yeah. And when he does this bit about something like
It's one of
with
my
the
favorite
universe,
bits.
and he's like, is there any, this is the only
Love it.
universe in which I'm not a youth pastor.
Yeah.
And like that's what I get, the vibe you get from this Dave
Kevin
Kovak.
Kline?
It's either he's a youth pastor or he's like this sweet theater teacher in a little college. Like, and the
I can see
employment
that.
agency thing totally catches me off guard. And it's almost
really?
like, yeah, it's almost like we got to have him do that because it's going to be a political thing. And I'm like, he looks like a theater teacher on his little bicycle, and his little sack, his little knapsack.
I mean, I totally see what you're saying, but like it never
Sweet, friendly, singing Oklahoma, you know.
never bothered me that he was a employment agency guy.
Oh my! No, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's great. I just
But no, point taken.
That's
No,
how
I can see
sweet
that.
and innocent he is.
I
Like,
can see
he's
that.
just
Yeah,
like
he's totally sweet, innocent guy,
idealistic,
full of hope, idealistic.
personified.
So he does these little gigs for fun, and then it cuts to there's a meeting with the president, and like we see how contrasted with that, Bill Mitchell's like the biggest jerk in the world, and he is willing to pawn off any. He actually says something about. There's something in the scene where he said he's in a meeting with people, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want me to take the blame," or something like that.
I want you to look like this.
Basically, he's saying, see, like he's a selfish, awful guy.
Yeah, they're gonna take fund. They're gonna remove funding for this. Something like you're taking lunch or something out of the hands of these kids, and he's like, "I don't want it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna.
He's
do
gonna
this.
do it because he's a bad
He's
man.
a bad
He's
seed.
what he's been baked in. Probably was a good seed at some point
He's
and
a
it's gone
foil.
bad. So then it cuts back to Dave going into the employment office to again contrast how good this guy is. Where he's it's Wednesday and everybody works on Wednesdays.
And he comes running over and she's like, she's been in your office crying for an hour, and he's like, what's wrong? Like he's just so sweet, and he walks her out and takes her to the Charles Grodin's
oh my gosh
office, and he's like, I can't find work for the people you sent me already. But he's like, his face is the star of his
Grodin
scenes. Like
he steals nearly any scene he's in from his.
He's disgruntled personified.
He is the ultimate deadpan. That guy. He is. Oh gosh, he was so good.
Beethoven.
He was so good.
He was. He is. Is he?
Yes, he died.
Oh no! When did he die?
A few years ago.
Oh man.
Yeah, it sucks. He's so good. So yes, but everything that Jessi was saying, he takes one of his clients over to Charles Grodin, who's an accountant, and he clearly is a good friend of Dave's, and Dave sends all of it, like so many of his people, like this guy's entire office is
when he talks
populated
about
with
the
Dave's
husband,
workers.
she's like, her husband's diabetic, and
and
he like kind of gives her a look like,
So Grodin, because he has a big heart as well, just keeps taking these people. He says, like you said, I can't pay the people you've already sent over.
like, I don't have any work for.
But Dave gives him this great line. He convinces him, which is also important for later, like how convincing he is, what a good storyteller he is. And so he agrees. And then we see Dave riding home on his bike singing Oklahoma. And he's like, the local kids in the street, like, I guess know him. They throw him a ball at some point and he throws it back as he's riding.
The wind comes sweep. Oh. Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, and we forgot to mention that at the end of the car salesman scene when he's riding a pig, as we pan over to Ving Rhames.
Oh yeah, they're watching him.
Who's a Secret Service guy, and he's in a suit with a very dour face, and he and his partner are there watching. So anyway, Dave goes into his house, and unbeknownst to him, Ving Rhames and his partner are there in the house.
Such a great opening. Oh, and he walks in, and he's singing.
Walks right by him, doesn't see him.
Down the plains, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And he's like walking around the kitchen. He picks up the mail.
And then he sees them, and it's a great reveal.
He's like, oh.
And he thinks it's like a tax evasion thing.
He's like so startled that these two men in suits, it's like Men in Black, like with the seriousness of just standing there.
Yeah. And he's like, look, I really thought that the taxes were
an appropriate deduction.
like, we're not here about your taxes. And then he kind of explains what it is.
I love that.
What?
Oh, never mind. I know
speak.
you're gonna say it.
Go ahead.
When one of my favorites is he's like, your country needs you, and he goes, oh. It makes this great face, like, really?
Yeah,
He might even say, really.
Kevin Kline is he's
so good.
He's so great in this. Just everything about it. Like, he's such a joyful performance.
But he's also amazing because he's such a jerk as the president. He's like this little jovial guy, and then you remember him in A Fish Called Wanda, where he's like sniffing Jamie Lee Curtis's boot.
Yeah.
And he's just like this really like kind of jerk of a crook, but he's also funny and sweet and bizarre and weird, and he's so good at everything. It's almost like he's an actor, you know?
Almost.
Wait, I didn't see In and Out, but Tom Selleck's in it, and he's very handsome.
In and Out? What's that?
With Kevin Kline, where he comes out and...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, anyway, move on.
Secret Service, so they hire him to be a double for the president.
Yeah.
That's what he explains to him in the apartment. So they're going to an event where President Mitchell is giving a speech, and then they need Dave, to take over and then get in the limousine because the president has a very important appointment to attend. So Dave's getting ready in the makeup chair, and Frank Langella comes in, who is Bob Mitchell's chief of staff. He gives him these. He's Langella he's so perfect in this role. He's just so heavy and dark and evil, and he gives him specific instructions. The last one of which is, don't say a word. He's supposed to smile and wave and get in the limo.
Oh, it's
and I
so
think Dave's
good.
like, can I just say, if you want me to say anything, I can. And he's like, don't say a word. And that's it. So then we see Dave getting ready. He's in this like beautiful hotel suite. We got the speech going on. The president giving a rousing speech downstairs to this house full of lawyers. Is there a lawyer in the house? Gross. And it's kind of between this rousing speech that he's giving and Dave getting ready in this suite, and he's just kind of in awe and amazed by the whole machinery of this office, of this presidency. And I love the contrast. They contrast the noise of the gala with the quietness of the room.
Oh yeah.
And then there's that great moment where like Dave's getting, I can't remember what he's doing. I think he's like going, or he's doing these kind of like stretches and neck things, and Ving Rhames is just standing there the whole time staring at him, and then finally just goes, stop. Because it goes on for like 30 seconds.
I don't remember
there's
that.
30.
I watched
You don't remember
it
this?
twice
Oh,
the
it's
other
so
day.
good. There's like this great shot, and Kevin Kline's just doing this weird stretches, and he's like, that's what, you know what he's cracking,
like an actor
he's
or a
cracking
theater
his
coach
knuckles.
would do.
Yes, okay, we get point taken. He could have been a theater instructor, so he's cracking his knuckles, and he's like, he's doing like these. He's warming up his mouth, and he's doing these mouth things, and Ving Rhames is just in frame. He's absolutely stoic, staring at him the whole time. And after like 30 seconds, he just goes, stop. It's so great because he's like totally.
He's got a lot of he has a lot of emotion in his eyes, like that one scene we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So we told. Yeah, I mean, Ving Rhames doesn't have a whole lot to do.
He's
in
a
this
man
movie,
of few words,
and he does a lot with not much.
He does.
So
is he alive?
So then yes.
Good.
So then the president is walking up to the hotel suite. He goes up to the hotel suite and walks in, and you hear him say something like, let's just hope the guy you got is better than the last one. He didn't look anything like me. And then there's this shot where he sees him.
It's like the Terminator. It's like Terminator 2 when he walks up to the guy and he's like, what?
Yeah. Except he doesn't get a finger knife through the eye.
Yeah, he doesn't get that. With a coffee cup attached to it.
So, yeah, there's this... And I tried to look this up, and I couldn't find it if this was the first...
Finger knife.
Yeah. I guess Terminator 2 was before this, wasn't it?
Finger knife is good. And earlier someone said throat punch, which I really like. Okay, continue.
Someone?
Well, I was having a conversation and they were like...
With yourself?
I was like, how you doing? I was like, oh, it's so ungodly hot. If I don't get out of here, I'm going to throat punch someone.
Yeah, throat punch, finger knife is good. I looked this up, and now I'm thinking about it. Like, I think Terminator 2 was probably before this, I would guess. Maybe not.
93?
Anyway, I was just wondering if there's this shot where Kevin Kline, playing both roles, is standing face to face with himself in one shot on screen, and I was wondering if that was like one of the first times that had been done. I don't. Maybe I'm very wrong about that, but I remember when I saw it thinking, "Whoa, how did they do that?" So I don't know.
God, that never even occurred to me.
That's because he was stupid.
That never even occurred to me. I swear to God, there's a part of me that really thinks
that Kevin Kline is such a good actor that he can physically be in two different places at once.
So dumb. I don't even think.
Too late.
I processed that they were the same person as an actor. Like, I know that they are. I know they're both Kevin Kline, but like it never really.
What?
It just never. Of course, I know, but I also.
But of course, you know. Join us for this very special episode of Such a Good One, where my sister finally has to face reality that Kevin Kline is not two different people.
I know, and it's just when you said that, I was like, it really felt like they were two
in Terminator
people.
2, did you know in Terminator 2, the
They're
guy...
twins.
Yes,
They're twins.
the
You know
guy,
why I know that? Because
yeah.
they're in Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know in my heart that I'm funny. Such a great
Oh,
line.
I love him.
Bruno
He's
Kirby.
dead too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So depressing.
You made a woman meow? Wait, what am I looking at?
I don't know. Yeah, but anyways,
keep talking.
So
Do
anyway,
your work.
my point is like there's that scene where they say face to face, and then Bob Mitchell goes, "You're a very handsome man." Kevin Kline says, well, "Thank you, Mr. President," or something like that. And then he goes, "Just lose the grin. You look like an idiot," or whatever.
Yes.
And then he.
Oh my God, you were right. Terminator 2, 91. Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. So no, this is probably the first time a comedy had used it, I guess. But anyway, so then they meet. Bob Mitchell goes off. They won't tell Dave what's happening. He just has an important appointment, and so Kevin Kline, Dave, they walk him down, and they're walking through the hotel, and you can see this is so well directed. The music is perfect. Kevin Kline's performance is great. They're walking through the long the hallway, and there's this one great shot where everyone's following him, and you see Kevin Kline walking, and he kind of like looks to his left and it looks to his right, and kind of like you see that he's like getting everyone's following him, and he kind of slows his pace down, and they all slow down, and he kind of looks at him like, oh, this is pretty neat, and they're like, get moving. And then he walks, and you start to like see him like kind of like it's kind of amazing to him what he's getting to do, and like the fact that he is feeling powerful. They walk through the kitchen, and like the kitchen staff's like staring at him, and they're pointing, and he's like waving. Hello. And at first he's very stiff, and then he kind of is like getting into it. Then they bring him around this corner out into where this red carpet is that leads to the limousine, and it's just hundreds of people and paparazzi. And Kevin Kline does this so well, where you can just see his the awe just washes over him, and he just and they're like, you see him get terrified also, and he becomes very stiff, right? And then he's like waving at and then as he takes a few steps, it's Mr. President, we love you, Mr. President, and he starts getting like bolder,
and he does that face of like
thumbs up, pointing at you, and then he goes and shakes some hands, and then and they walk all the way down the line. It's going really well.
He's getting super jazzed
and you
up.
can see it, like he does it so well. And again, like direction, everything is so good. And then he's close to the limo. He just spins around because he's
his hands in the air,
so jacked up. And what is it he says?
God bless you. God bless America.
And everyone's like, yeah. And Ving Rhames is like, oh,
They
Matanasis.
they like rush him
They
into the car.
basically throw him in the car, and he tries to say something else. And they get him in the car, and he's out the limo door. And he's like, and another thing, and they yank him in. He's like, oh, and they pull him in the limo, and oh my gosh, it's such a great moment, and it's so.
God bless you. God bless America. But they pull him. It's funny. Like, speaking of potential danger in a presidential situation, they pull him like he's about to be assassinated. They're like, ah! Like, it's the worst thing ever that he's going to give himself away.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing Frank John just said was, "Don't say a word."
Like, don't
right?
look nice.
And so he gets him in there. So then, I love it. He says in the car, he's like, "I'm so sorry, I couldn't help myself. I'm so excited." So I love that whole sequence is so great. He couldn't control himself, and so then it cuts to the president sleeping with Laura Linney.
Oh yeah, he's like, it must have had something really important, right?
Oh,
And
that's
Ving
right,
Rhames
yeah.
is like,
Yeah, Ving Rhames doesn't say
Does this
anything. But
classic
Dave's,
quiet.
Yeah, Dave's like, where is the president? He must be pretty important here for this. And then it cuts to the hotel room, and he's sleeping with her, and then he thrusts
Ew.
and then goes limp.
in the Golden
All
Girls.
over.
In the Golden Girls, Rose's
Why are we
husband.
talking about the Golden Girls again?
Rose's
I
husband died in the same way.
Okay. Was he the president?
No.
Okay. So anyway, the president sleeping with Laura Linney. He has a stroke while sleeping with her.
Oh, he had a heart attack, so never mind.
This is a huge stroke.
No, I know, but in
We're
Golden
not
Girls.
talking about the Golden Girls.
I gotta get my cup.
So
I'm thirsty.
we see Mitchell pass out, and Laura Linney's like, "Mr. President," and she starts to get very nervous. And then it cuts to Kevin Dunn and Frank Langella, who is two chiefs of staff, or chief of staff, and whoever his speechwriter or whatever his position is exactly. And you can tell immediately Bob is power hungry, and he's trying to steal the presidency, and they will not call the vice president because he hates the vice president. We don't know anything about
the
him.
vice president.
We haven't met the vice president yet,
I know
so
who
you
he
don't know
is.
that you love him yet.
I know who he is.
Okay, you're very special.
Does
There's
he
very
have a
special power
ponytail
that you
in
have.
this? I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
it feels like he does, but he doesn't.
Love him.
Dave, Payne.
Pain.
Dave.
I was gonna say it.
So then back to Dave in the limo. Ving Rhames gets a call. Oh, what's his name in this? I don't even remember his name. Ving Rhames' name in this. But he gets a call.
Can I Google on this? I'm just Googling
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah. So he gets a call, and he also, not much to do, but man, you feel it when he's like, you can see when he's nervous, we are nervous.
Yeah.
And Kevin Kline is very nervous, and they start turning around. Dwayne, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, Dwayne, yeah. He starts turning around, and Kevin Kline's like, where are we going? And he doesn't really say much to him. And he's like, look, if this is about what I said, I'm sorry. And then he goes, where are we going? And then he sees they're going towards the White House, and he's immediately like completely in awe again. What's going on?
Do you know what we forgot about too? Bonnie Hunt's in it. Love her.
We haven't gotten there. That's why we haven't forgotten about
And
it.
Jason Reitman's in it.
Oh, that's not where. Who is he?
Vice President something.
Oh, he's at
We're
the
gonna
sign,
hate
the swearing in at the end. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Gosh, advisors underground plotting. They're
under.
So I
they're
guess they're
under the wherever they are in the White
Yeah.
House. It looks like they're in a friggin' spaceship.
they're in this like
It is
bunker.
the bizarre. Oh, okay.
They're in this. They're in
That
this
is the
sort of bunker, and it's like a medical bunker.
They
and
do
the
have a bunker.
President's down there, and
That's
they're
right.
plotting. They're saying you're gonna tell people it's a mild stroke.
Yeah.
And then so they see. So Dave's freaked out. He sees the White House. That's what I was saying. The wish fulfillment movie. So then Dave comes into the Oval Office, and Bob and Al is Kevin Dunn's name. Is Bob and Al.
He's nice.
Bill Mitchell. I keep saying Bob Mitchell. It's Bill Mitchell, President Bill Mitchell.
I like Al.
Al's great.
Nice.
Kevin Dunn, he's wonderful.
Get the beard. He's very friendly.
Yeah, always trust the man with a beard.
You do.
Bob and Al in the Oval Office with
Sort of.
Dave. I love they said to him, "Try it out." His seat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Try it out. Oh, really? You mean- And he sits in the chair and he goes, "How does it feel?" I love that he goes, "How does it feel?" And he goes, "Oh, very nice." And so the scene again is just directed so well. You have Dave in the president's chair, and he has all these low angle shots from behind the seat looking up at Kevin Dunn and Frank Langella, and they're very like ominous.
Yeah.
And and it's good cop, bad cop. Al's like, Dave, have you ever felt like, and he's trying to give this like very soft pitch for like breaking all the laws in the
yeah.
country.
What is the analogy he uses? It's pretty funny.
Well, they start talking about
you are.
They talk about it in a second, but he goes, we feel the pressure. So we start feeling this pressure, and then Dave realizes what's going on. And he like shoots out the chair. He's like, whoa. And they're like, what about the vice president? And they say, well, we didn't want to have to tell you this, but the vice president is not mentally stable. He's like, really? And that's where they give the analogy. He goes, Dave, you ever driven through a red light late at night and no one's around? And he basically says, he's like, you're breaking the law, but like, you're not harming anyone. And that's the whole analogy. And he says, right now, the whole country is in, he's like, you've got to get to the hospital or whatever.
Yeah, you have to do that.
He's like, the whole country's in the car right now, and you've got to run that red light. The country is sick, and you're going to get it to the hospital, is what they say. It's so funny that, and then he says,
say,
like,
I am?
I don't know, but it's such a bit like, the conceit of this movie is so ridiculous, or it seems, but I don't know, it's maybe not, I don't know. It seems so ridiculous, I should say. But then you look back at things like, Nixon and Watergate, and it's maybe not that ridiculous, but still. But you still buy it because the writing's so good, direction's good, Kevin Kline, all the acting's great. And so you totally like, yeah, I'm on board. You're not watching like a serious, drama or whatever. They talk about the first lady. How about the first lady? They sleep in separate bedrooms. They don't talk anymore, that we find out. So he sort of like tentatively agrees a little bit, and they show him to the presidential suite. And then he goes into the suite, and he says, good night, Mr. President. And when he says good night, Mr. President, I have this note, Kline's face is like just perfect. There's this terror and joy and awe. It's everything. And he's like looking around this presidential suite. Look at the portrait of Washington.
You know what I'd be excited about?
No.
I'll give you one guess.
In the presidential suite?
Just in general.
I don't know.
Food.
I
just picture like a little mini fridge with all presidential things in it. It's not like that, but he could call anyone at any hour and be like, I'd like sushi.
Yeah, well, there's that scene he's with Ving Rhames, and he's making a sandwich, and he's got like an entire deli counter on the table. I don't know who put it there.
God.
It's an entire deli counter.
It's like a whole
It's just laid
thing.
out. But yeah, he picks up a phone, and it's like, yes, Mr. President. He's like, oh, good night, sorry. It's just
crazy.
And we were saying, like, the lines, a lot of the lines in this movie aren't amazing lines. Like, but the comedy all comes from the performance in the situation,
Oh, he's such a happy face.
And they're great performers. It's great circumstance. It's just really well set up.
It's fun. It's, again, one of those movies, just like this is so many of the movies that we loved growing up, or, it's like the weird music we even had to listen to when we were kids. It's like, you could make fun of it, or you could pick it apart or read a review, but it's just good. It's just fun. It's nice to watch.
It's a fun,
makes you smile.
It's a fun world to like be in for a bit, especially as we're saying in the political climate right now. It's a really fun world to be in right now. So there's a press conference, and they give all the lies about the stroke and everything, and he's fine. What they call it, like a mild circulatory problem of the brain or something like that. Of the head is what they call it.
And of course, and
like
it's great because I think Sigourney Weaver sort of, whatever she says implies like, like she knows like he did something.
Well, she comes in, and when you first see her, she says, why, or when you first see her in this context, she says, why can't you die from a stroke like everybody else?
Oh, yes.
But anyway, so we find out that what Bob's idea is, he's trying to get appointed as he wants Dave to appoint him as vice president, so then they'll reveal that he'll have another stroke, and then he'll be president. So that's the plan. There's a mention of this first lady's away because she's giving a speech at Bryn Mawr.
That's right.
Down the street from us.
Down the street.
Bryn Mawr College.
Up the street.
Very famous in many.
In many. Katharine Hepburn went there.
In many Hollywood film. Bryn Mawr.
Because Katharine Hepburn went there.
Okay.
Just saying.
Also, they use it in Miss Maisel. They came and shot here.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So many weird connections.
Yeah.
Like, because you were on that show and you live near Bryn Mawr.
Yeah. They didn't call me and invite me to come say hi.
But it was neat, though. More people you've met.
I say Langella is so intimidating. I have polo climbing, which I think is maybe they're trying
Wait,
to.
maybe you should make that part of the show. Just reading your weird notes.
I think
and mine
I
too.
think they have him on the phone calling Faith Prince, who's at the employment agency, saying he's met someone who's in love and or something like that, or exercise.
She's a princess.
Yeah, I don't know what the polo.
Wait, I want to
climbing
see
is.
the note. Maybe I can figure it out.
No, it just says polo. There's something about where they're talking about presidential exercise, and he's. He's like trying to riff, and he's like, "Oh yes, just getting back to exercise."
He's got the sensors on, and the doctor's talking.
Oh, that's right. He started the doctor. Just weights, polo,
biking.
climbing. And he's like, "That's." And Joe's like, "That's enough." He's like,
"You're in excellent health, Mr. President."
So then he goes to the West Wing for the first time. Yeah, that's right. The doctor's like, "You even some of your other problems have disappeared. You're in better shape." Exercise, diet.
That just reminded me in the West Wing when the president hits the tree and they were trying to explain it to the press. And she was like, "What do you want me to?" The president came to a sudden arboreal stop. Halt or whatever. I think it was Toby or CJ. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah. Thank you for talking about the West Wing.
I'll try to do it at least 50 more times.
Yeah, I know.
Allison Janney, I can't wait to meet you.
So this Dave calls to tell the office he's running away for a month to Cancun because he's met someone, a princess.
Didn't you see her on a train or something?
Hang up. Allison Janney?
Yeah.
No, I met her when I was doing Young Sheldon because
you met her?
Dressing rooms because she was doing Mom at the time.
You met her?
Yes.
You met her? You met Allison Janney?
Yes.
Didn't tell me that.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, once again, just anger from me.
Wear
just
a raincoat.
Meeting people. Okay. Wear a raincoat. So then we have this whole sequence of Dave in presidential lessons. He's trying to remember all the faces and names of the cabinet and the vice presidents of the African Goodwill Tour. They're in the press room. Oh, that's right. This is a great moment when they go into the press room and they're showing him around the White House and Bob and Al are like, this is the press room, and gives those speeches and he says and Al's like, now when you give a speech, you're gonna want to have your hands here. He keeps his hands here.
Oh yeah, he corrects him or something.
And then Dave's like, well, yes, but that's only if he's out giving a speech at a campaign. Otherwise, his hands are here, and he kind of corrects him, and then he starts reciting part of his speech, and he's like, "Oh, it's a great speech." And Al goes, "Thanks, I wrote it."
Yeah,
because you did. Yes. And then he continues on with the speech,
Aww.
and then Bob and Al sit down. You can see, and Kevin Dunn's so great in this moment. Like he's just like, you totally get that hearing Dave give this speech. He's hearing it the way it was meant to be for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like he just telegraphs that so well where you're like, this is the speech I wrote. This is it. Not how that other guy delivered it, how this guy delivers it. And you can see right there is where he starts kind of being in Dave's corner, which is very important later.
in the West Wing.
Oh my God.
They're talking about how you deliver a speech, and Allison Janney says Galileo 5, and he says you don't say it right, and then Sam says Galileo 5. Anyway, it's about delivering a speech in an inspiration. I get it.
So then they meet the First Lady
Yeah.
for a quick appearance, and that's when she and they say, and Frank Langella says, all you have to say is thank you for doing this, Ellen. And he's like, thank you for doing this, Ellen. He says, yeah. And then she walks in, why can't you die from a stroke like everybody else? And he's immediately in love with her. You can see in all over his face, he's just like absolutely fallen for her immediately. And then she says, who was she, Bill? Just another one of your whatever
Secretaries or something like that.
And then he looks at her and then he just goes, thank you for doing this, Ellen. She says, go to hell, Bill.
Oh, it's so good.
And they walk out. They walk out of the balcony and they're waving and everything. And then they're Kevin and Bob and Al are trying to like coach him. They're like, okay, wave, And someone yells up a question and someone asks a question. They're like, okay, say yes. He goes, yes. And then they get their signals across. And Sigourney Weaver goes, I'm out of here. And she starts to leave. He's out there and Bob Howard's like, go. And Kevin Kline just goes, go. To the
Everyone's like, what?
To the whole press corps. They're all just staring up at him. And he just wanders back in. Oh, man. And then I can't remember what.
When did the conspiracy theorists start they do like the clips of the news and the guy's like, if you look at pictures of Bill
the
Mitchell.
guy.
What?
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, no, there were several people though. There were several different clips. Yeah, a lot of them are I almost said Larry David. Yeah, Larry King. And there are a lot of them. There are
No, the guy that Larry King's talking to who says, if you look at a picture before... You don't know who that is?
Who is it?
There's a very funny joke because of who that is.
Oh, no. I might remember if I saw him again. Oh, shoot.
I will tell you when we get there.
I'm going to look it up.
No, don't look it up.
I want to look it up.
Okay, well, it's Oliver Stone who directed JFK.
Oh, I would never have known that.
He directed JFK, and JFK had just come out. Oh. Hence the conspiracy theory.
Gotcha. Okay.
And because he says that, he goes, if you look at a picture before Bill Mitchell, before the stroke and after the stroke, it's a different person. Larry King goes, he says, like, Oliver, do you think that maybe you're a little paranoid?
Oh,
it's just so great.
Yeah. Okay. I remember him saying Oliver, even though I didn't know who that was.
Meant Larry King, too.
You meant Larry King.
He was on an episode of Better With
alive.
You. No. He did an episode of Better With You. I have a picture with him.
That's a great show. Wait. No. Yeah, that is a great show. Yeah. Committed is my favorite of the shows you were on, and then Better With You.
Yeah. Then it goes in this montage of like seeing Dave be presidential. As Dave is he's with babies at various functions and being like fun, like he's really good at this, and Al sees it. That's when he goes to the plant, and they're telling him they're at like some factory somewhere, and he is able to control these huge robot arms,
like mechanical.
Yeah,
which by the way gives you Alien Sigourney Weaver
very
vibes.
Alien Sigourney Weaver vibes.
That thing is terrifying.
And they're like, Mr. President, now the robot arms will do what you do, and he starts moving his arms around, and then he does the best line.
We'll do it together, Josh. Let's do it together.
He holds his huge robot arms out and goes, I once caught a fish this big. And then everyone cracks up. And
good job.
And then, oh, Lua.
Oh, no. And the workers are all dancing.
He's dancing. The workers are dancing. Everyone loves him. And you can see Al, again, Kevin Dunn, amazing, just like so like inspired. Inspired by this guy.
And then the other guy wants to just strangle him until he's dead.
Yeah. The other guy doesn't care as long as because he has his plan in motion.
Yeah.
And then the first time we see the first lady being a little curious is he's playing with his dogs. He's playing with the dogs on the lawn, and the whole press corps is like taking pictures. And that's when she's like looking at him like, something's going on with this guy. Then they have this is the first press montage. The public loves the new president. You have your Jay Leno appearance. Schwarzenegger. Remember where Schwarzenegger's there and he's with all the kids at the White House? He's like, and what you want? He's like, what you want to eat is this.
God.
And he's like, eats a cookie. He's like, you don't want to eat that. And then Dave spits the cookie out.
Oh my God. I was not paying attention, which is great because Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, it was really bad.
I'm not great at him.
Well, did you like Kindergarten Cop?
I can only do Dana, get down! Get to the chopper! That's all I can do.
No, Dana, no!
Wait,
that's all I can do. I can't do anything else.
It's not a tumor. I love that one.
It's not a tumor. I can't do it. I can only do the screaming.
Shut up.
I can only do screaming Schwarzenegger. So then, and then this is this great sequence where he goes to get. He gets to do the first pitch at the Orioles game. He throws out the pitch. Oh my gosh! Talk about wish fulfillment.
The music's going. It's very good.
It's so majestic. All of it. It's so wonderful.
It is.
And then all the shots, people they love him. The McLaughlin group, they're on TV and saying the zombie is gone. Bill Mitchell, he's not a zombie anymore. First lady's watching all this, very curious. And then is night at the White House on the balcony.
Is this a shower scene?
Looking, no. He's looking over at the first lady's window, and he's kind of in love with her, and he can tell. And then he thinks that she heard him, so he runs away. Then there's making sandwiches in the kitchen. Again, just an entire deli counter has been laid out somehow.
That's like it's like the the cartoon sandwiches, like the Garfield sandwiches.
Yeah, the heroes.
They look so good.
And this great scene, which is I think a lot of people will remember from this movie, is the whole thing. It's like, so your job to protect the president the whole time? You have a gun? You use it? You take a bullet for the president? He goes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he says, so I guess you get killed for me too, huh? He just stares at him.
His expression is so classic, just like
Pataresis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, both
like he's
of them.
putting all of it in, and he's like, "What? Wouldn't you?"
Because Ving Rhames for a moment too is a little like there's a moment of like he's thinking about it, and it's not a good answer. And Kevin Kline has this great moment too, like you're saying, he has that expression, but you also read in him where he's kind of like sort of the reality thing. It's like this reminder that you're not really the president. And it sort of sinks in a little bit there for a second.
No, it's true. I mean,
because I mean, it's obviously insane, this whole setup, right? And like, it's unthinkable that this would ever happen. Yeah. But like, if someone did, and it was someone like that, you could imagine being just swept up and like forgetting that you're breaking every law and that you're like going to probably go to prison forever.
The sandwiches alone.
The sandwiches alone.
And the big robot arms. If someone was guiding you through the process and you really didn't have to do anything and it was just for a short time, you thought, that would be so fun.
Yes.
Oh.
So then there's this nice subplot they're setting up here where there's this whole thing about called the Liberty something scandal. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, with the vice president, right?
And so like, well, it was Bill Mitchell and Bob were the ones who like did whatever this Liberty One, I think, is like this some
Bill
kind of
Mitchell is a crust.
He's a crook.
He is. He's like Richard Dreyfuss in American President.
Okay, so he got there's some scandal with some investment company that clearly Bill Mitchell and Bob were involved in, but they're trying to pin it on the vice president. That way, that's how they're going to try to remove him. And at this point, Al is still trying to help. But everyone's loving Dave. Yeah. The approval ratings are up. The homeless shelter appearance is coming up. Oh, and that's right. So
that's like the first lady always has kind of a cause that they really spearhead, and that's hers.
Her cause is this homeless shelter.
And he was like, I don't give a flying toot with his behavior. And then now...
Yeah. Well, on the way is very important because they're on the way there to this homeless shelter, and they have a brief conversation. I can't remember really what he says, but he checks out her leg. He looks down her legs. You can see a little bit of her slip under her like dress, and she looks at him, and it's this great choreographed thing where like right as they look, they both kind of look at the same time. And he's like trying to pretend he's not looking at her legs, and so then they go to this homeless shelter and they walk in, and that's where Anna Deavere Smith is, who's sort of the teacher or whoever runs the shelter. Yeah. And it's a great moment when they walk in. And it's like the whole press corps is there, and Dave walks in and he just goes, "They're all kids."
Oh,
and he's like surprised, and they say, "Oh yeah, well, children are homeless too."
Yes, and children are homeless too.
Yeah, right. And so Sigourney Weaver's taking center stage with the press and talking about all this and everything that goes on with the shelter and how important it is and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, he sees one little kid playing by himself, and he walks over there and sits down with him, and the whole press corps follows. And he starts talking to the kid. He's like, "Why are you over here by yourself? What are you doing?" And the kid doesn't say much and everything. And then the press starts taking all these pictures, and he just is like, guys, not now. And he kind of pushes them, which is, again, a very idealistic moment. Like watching now, you're like, man, I wish a politician would be like, no, not now, please.
That happens a lot in other movies I like, but I won't mention them.
Yeah, please don't. So
his name's David, the little boy.
Okay.
His name's David. He said good name because that's his name.
Okay, good.
Dave Kovak.
Okay.
Kovak.
Good note.
Kovak.
Good note. So he does a little magic trick for the kid, which completely charms him and everybody else.
And Ellen. First Lady Ellen.
Yeah.
Yes. She's like, what?
There's this great little scene here where later on Dave's looking at all the pictures of him in all the magazines, and he's standing there with Ving Rhames, and he goes,
"Oh yeah."
He's like, here's you. You're right here. She's like, where am I? He's like, right. He's like, you're right here, back here. Here's me, and here's this guy, and then way back there, that's you, right there. And he's like, no. He's just, and I can't remember how it comes up, but he says something about a sweater vest. He's like, why are you always wearing a jacket? And he's like, you should wear a sweater or something. He goes, I think a sweater would be too bulky on me.
Yes. Oh my God, I love it.
And he's like, no, it'd be nice. They're talking about.
You know what I never know? Does he ever wear a sweater vest in the rest of the movie?
I think at the very end he is wearing a sweater vest.
Really? Did you just make
maybe
that up?
Not.
You just made that up.
Maybe not. Maybe he's not.
I want to find out.
But the last line of that little scene, he says, "You think a sweater vest would look good on me?"
It's so
great.
good.
And then we see Bob goes into the Oval Office by himself, and then vetoes all these bills signing the president's name. And of course, one of those bills is Nick. Gets rid of all the funding for the homeless shelter, and that's when the shower scene comes. Would you like to explain this scene? Because clearly you love it.
No, I don't care. He vetoes it?
Yeah.
Does
There's-
he doesn't know it's in there.
No. Bob.
Bill. Oh, Bob.
Frank Langella.
Oh, he vetoes it like
does a
he's not.
scene-
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's in case anyone's wondering, there's a very serious storm going
a
on
big
right now.
thunderstorm.
That's a lot of thunder.
A lot of thunder.
Tornado-y.
So
Anyway.
so Bob, Frank Langella, the chief of staff who wants to be VP, he takes all these bills into the Oval Office by himself and signs them
his
all,
name.
and then vetoes them all, and that's
You
how
can't do that.
That's how the funding gets cut, and that's why she comes in and like yells at him in the shower.
Yes.
And she's like, "What the hell was it all about? You talking to that little kid and
He's
put on
a-
this hoe and show?" Yeah, but anyway, how does the scene start
Hail
again?
to the chief, he's the chief.
Yeah, he's in
and
this
we
huge
hail
glass
him.
shower.
Hail to the chief is the something.
'Cause he's
He has
taking
the
a shower
power,
or whatever.
That's why he's in the shower.
Yeah, Dave's just
in
singing
the
to himself,
shower.
being all goofy
no
in the
clue
shower.
what's going on, and First
Sigourney
Lady
Weaver
walks
tears in.
rips the door open, and I don't know what they say, but he's like,
He's like, he puts his
flattens
hands
himself against the shower.
hands against the wall, like won't face her,
And she's like, turn around.
yeah, turn around.
He's like,
look
I
at
don't
me
know.
when I'm talking to you. And he's like,
Turn around. And he finally is like,
So he turns around, and then she's yelling about something. At the end of the line, she kind of looks down briefly, and then kind of looks back up, and
she
he
hesitates.
and he has this look of like, are you gonna know it's me now?
And you'd like to believe as the viewer, even as a guy, you're like, I hope it's a better situation.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
it's because it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, whatever.
You.
The point is, she's like, and you
Disgusting.
and and it's just this
Yeah.
really awkward moment.
So she, basically, but she finds out that that's when he finds out that they cut the funding to the homeless shelter. So he demands an emergency
yes.
meeting, and Bob and Al are summoned
rips
to
him
the
a new
Oval
one.
Office, and he's like, why did we veto that bill? And Brandon Angelo's like, we didn't veto anything, you know, and he
Bill
that's when he's
Mitchell.
just like. He's obviously super pissed, and he's reminding him like, you're nobody, you're nothing.
And so he said, don't ever call a meeting again.
That's,
Like,
that's
it's
the last thing he
vibe.
says. But he does say in here, he says the budget, you know, Al's like, well, the budget's very complicated, Dave. He's like
Yeah.
trying to help him. And then Bob says, very importantly, if you can find a way to cut $650 million in the budget, you can keep your lousy shelters.
Oh, yeah.
And don't ever summon me to the White House again, or whatever.
In the middle of the night.
In the
or
middle of the night.
Whatever it was.
And then here comes Grodin. So he hears that line, and he summons Charles Grodin.
Who rolls up in like an old Honda or whatever
Oh
it
my
is, some like
gosh.
old car, and he's like, "What the?"
Yeah, and he doesn't he pull up to the he pulls up to the gate first, isn't that right? And the guy's like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "I'm here to see the president." He asked for me. He's like, "I'm sure he did, sir," or something like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that happens. But he brings him in.
And he gets food.
And well, not yet, but that's what hooks him. But he brings him in, and he shows him the Oval Office, and Grodin is just this whole time, just that amazing Charles Grodin look, where he's just absolutely panicked, but like not moving
Flabbergasted
at
and
all.
just like,
And he tells him, and he says, "Listen, I need you to look at the budget with me. We need to cut $650 million in the budget." And he's just like, "Oh, what? What is
because
happening?"
he has an accounting agency, right?
This
That's
is
what he does.
illegal. And he's just telling him all
You're
this stuff.
not the president.
Yeah, and finally he says something. Dave's like, let me show you something. He's like, he calls in one of his secretaries. He's like, could you set up? Could you arrange for dinner for two in the whatever room? He's like, bratwurst, please. And then immediately Grodin's like, he looks over, I love bratwurst. He goes,
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Can I say something?
No,
Okay. So
no speaking.
I don't know if he says you're not the president, but I know he's thinking it. And it reminded me of a movie that Sigourney Weaver
Oh my God.
also starred in
Can't
called
believe this.
Working Girl. And there's a part in it. The river run. I'll just let you do the singing because it's funny. Anyway, there's a part where Melanie Griffith is, she's impersonating or she's when Sigourney Weaver is healing in the Swiss Alps or whatever, she's taken her place and she's scheming in a good way. But anyway, Joan
This is going
Cusack.
anywhere?
Yeah,
It's going
Joan
anywhere?
Cusack pretends to be her secretary one day and she's mad at her. She's like, how long can you keep doing this and impersonating this woman, or like you're gonna get caught? And she's like, I'm not gonna get caught, it's fine. And she goes, sometimes I sing and dance in my underwear. That don't make me Madonna. And that's a lot like Charles Grodin as his friend. What? Sometimes it's true. That don't make me Madonna. That's what he would say to him if he was Joan Cusack. What? It's true. My brain makes connections.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, they get bratwurst.
I'm going to try and recover from this. So they have dinner of bratwurst and they go over the budget.
I have a story.
And Grodin is looking at the budget, and he goes, and I love the idea that he looks at like the budget.
It's just
for
like
the country. It's like a book.
It's like one booklet.
It's like one book. They go through it in a dinner. But anyway, so Grodin, he says, I'd be out of business if I ran a business like this. If I ran my business like this, the books don't make any sense. And
the books for the entire country.
Yeah, exactly. You just get this. You get the sense that obviously there's a bunch of bizarre stuff going on. They're working through. They spend all night working on this thing.
Although technically they have all of that stuff, but if they're going to brief the president, they probably do have to have it in a little dossier.
Well, yeah, I'm sure, but
So anyway.
it's just funny.
Yeah.
The entire idea is that that they're going to fix the budget at night is pretty great, but you don't care because it's fun.
I did some math today.
Did you fix the budget for the country?
I did some really good math today. I was working some numbers.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not impressed. So Bob is psyched because the VP has now officially in the news been linked to the savings and loan scandal. Then there's this big meeting that's been called. That's what happened. Bob's walking through the White House. He's all excited because the news is broke. The VP is linked to the savings and loan. Their plan worked. He goes into this big meeting. There are all these people there. All these different folks. He goes over to Al and he's like, this is great. This is great. And he's so excited. He doesn't really even notice all the cameras and lights. And he finally does. He looks at Al and goes, what's all the camera and lights here? And
he called a press conference.
It's not a press conference. It's a meeting. And it's on the schedule. Dave comes in and sits down and he starts giving this whole little speech about the budget, and he wants to address the budget because he says the homeless shelters were lost and he wants to cut $650 million in the budget. Meanwhile, Bob is starting to lose his mind.
That's not on.
And he stands up and he says, Mr. President. And there's a great shot too, well-told story, good storytelling, where Dave looks back at him and it's like the whole long room and he goes, yes? And he goes, I don't believe that's on your agenda today. And he goes, well, I'm making a last-minute change. And there's this moment where you can see he can't say anything.
Because he's the president.
So Dave just turns and keeps talking. And there's another moment a few moments later where Bob stands up again and goes, Mr. President. And Dave turns and looks at me and goes, yes? And it's like, I think there's a wide-angle shot of the room. And it's just
crickets.
It's
like crickets.
And he just goes, nothing, excuse me, or whatever. And he sits down and it's this great moment. And then this awesome scene ensues where he starts calling out the different people who are at the table. He's like, for instance, you're spending $40 million on an ad campaign to make people feel better about the car they already bought. He just goes through all these these.
And I like that guy's reaction too when he tells him, he's like, yeah, but I don't want to tell a kid, but he has nowhere to live.
No, yeah.
So someone can feel better about their car. Do you want to tell him that? Yeah. And then he's like, looks at everybody.
Yeah.
He's like, no, sir, I sure don't.
No, Mr. President, I sure don't. You know, and like
it's such a nice moment.
There are two or three people he calls out like that. One of them is defense spending and this and that, and it's the beginning of what you see is to be a very long meeting that you kind of cut to the end of it. He's like, he cuts it. He's like, and carry the one, and that's $650 million. We can keep our shelters, and everyone applauds.
Yeah.
And what I love about this scene, obviously, it's a fun scene because obviously the good is prevailing. But what's really fun about it is this great shot when people are leaving the meeting. Everyone that was at the table is excited.
Yeah.
And they're all smiling and they're patting each other on the back and there's that
like
moment.
Did something.
It's that hopeful thing of like they did a good thing and look how good they feel about it. And you go, why doesn't government work that way? Oh my gosh. I mean, I know it's naive to say that, but still, wouldn't it be great if if like the two parties in this country could just like, I don't know, get in a room together and like feel good about doing something good instead of just saying how awful everyone is to each other all the time.
Like the bipartisan pancake breakfast in the West Wing that didn't actually turn out to be as positive as they'd hoped it would
What the
be.
hell are you talking about?
When we talk about presidential things,
What are
I
you
think
talking
of the West
about?
Wing and I think of the
my
American president.
God.
Moving on, it was just a quick aside.
More technical difficulties and the fake tornado going on outside.
So funny.
And we're back. Good. You got a window? Open it.
Hot damn, real hot.
Little crack pot cooking. So
What, did you watch that recently?
no, again, soundtrack. A lot of that stuff's on the soundtrack.
Oh, it's so good.
So
I play it all the time.
We're talking
Sorry,
about Good Morning Vietnam. I know in my heart that I'm funny. We said that already, but I love it.
Love it.
Bob, so after that amazing meeting they have,
Yeah.
so after this meeting where he manages to cut $650 million in the budget because Charles Grodin helped him that one night, and which again I don't care because
And
it's so
mystified and heartened, like every audience member, like, oh,
it's such a fun scene. Who cares? It's great. And then so they leave, and then Bob is with Al, and they're alone in the room. He goes, I'm gonna kill him. It's great.
Doesn't he say like, you can't kill the president? And he's like, he's not the president. Something like that.
It's something like that. Yeah.
This is a movie that I am not able to quote very
And they're
easily.
walking into his office, and that's when he says he's going to kill him, and he's going to do whatever, and he's going to. Bob says he's like, I'm going to shred him. I'm going to lock him away. And then Al stands up to him finally and says, well, then we'll all go to jail together. And the Langella turns and looks at him and goes, are you threatening me? It's so great. He says, yeah, I guess I am. Because that's the first time you see like the whole. That's where Al fully goes to Dave's side.
Aw, yay.
And then this is the scene I love. It was when after this, I thought it was before, you see Dave walking Charles Grodin out to his car, his beat up little car. And he says something. He's like, hey.
Camp David.
Well, yeah, we'll go check out Camp. That's right. Go check out
like,
Camp David. And he goes,
Camp
Camp David. And then he looks at him and he goes, get out of here as fast as you can.
See? Like John Cusack.
I love that.
Don't
Okay,
make
that's
me
not
Madonna.
at all like
but
Joan
wait,
Cusack.
that happens after the meeting?
Yes, apparently.
Really?
Apparently.
I was just napping up in the...
I mean, I think it's an out of order thing,
Okay,
maybe, but
all right.
whatever. It doesn't matter. But I love
Gotcha.
that. Get out of here as fast as you can. It's such a great.
He's so unfazed, too,
he's
by
so
what he just
wonderful.
did. So, like, just change the world,
I
or
know.
the whole country. And he's like, okay, you
Yeah.
should leave, though.
So then this is a great scene. This is where the movie starts to really change pace. Is when First Lady comes in and she sits down. And she's like, "That's great what you did today." And he's like, "Oh, you know." She says, "You know, it almost reminds me of when you started off. Do you remember when that thing you did in the state legislature?" And he's like, "Oh yes, very much, yes, very well." And she goes, "You weren't in the state legislature." And she stands up and holds her arm. She goes, "Hi, I'm Ellen Mitchell. Who are you?" It's such a great turn.
It is good.
And you want, yeah, I love
I
that.
forgot, yeah.
I love that.
I forgot from yesterday when I
You
watched it. Oh, Sigourney.
I love that.
And she says, does she say, like, where's my husband or where's the president? Probably the president.
I don't know what her line is there, but she says something to the effect of like, "Look, I don't even know him anymore, but I'd like to know where he is,
Yeah.
or my husband is, or whatever." And so he gets Ving Rhames to take them down to like the super secret bunker. And there's the underground hospital, and then she's so good in the scene too. Sigourney Weaver, she's so great. And then the nurse is like, "Oh, what? You can't be here." And the other Secret Service guy is like, "Oh my god!" When she comes down. But yeah, so she goes in. There's this like underground. This is really the first time we've really seen it, and she throws this curtain aside. And there's this one like very just concrete room. And there's just the president is there, Bill Mitchell's there, just like laid out, which is all tubes and things all in them, like all sorts of machines whirring and beeping. And she's just like, "Oh my god!" And it's like she says, "How bad is it?" And I think either no one says anything or someone says it's pretty bad or something like that. And then Then it just
Yeah.
gets to her packing her bags.
That's the part that made me laugh so much is that she's packing. It's like,
Yeah.
where are you going?
Well, she's in shock, and
I
she
know.
says he says that, and
I
she
don't
goes,
live here
she goes, I'm
anymore.
not the first lady anymore,
Oh,
you know,
that's good.
which is funny because he's clearly not the president, but he's got a bag too, and I guess he's decided he's leaving. I don't know
He
whatever
took
the
souvenirs.
whatever the reason. She's
He
clearly
probably felt like, well, it's over now. She knows, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's his.
well, she's clearly in shock, and then he basically says, well, like how are you going to get where you're going to go? She goes, I hadn't really thought about it. And so they sneak out through this like secret tunnel, and then it lets out like, you know, a mile from the White House or something. Dwayne's left a car for them. And so they're driving this car, and he says, that's when he goes, what did you first know about me?
Yeah.
And she goes, you looked at my legs. Bill stopped looking years ago. And he goes, I thought maybe it was the shower.
What does she say?
She just smiles, I think. Or she goes, it wasn't the shower or something like that. Which is very funny. I love it. But that's when they're pulled over by the cops, which is like the classic scene from this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, the cop pulls him over and he's like, oh, Mr. President or something like that.
Well, he gets him out of the car.
Yeah.
And he's like, we step out of the car. They ask for registration, and they don't have registration because it's not their car.
Oh, yeah.
And he steps out, and in the middle of them talking is when he goes, the cop looks at him and goes, oh, my God. And he's
Because
like,
she
"Oh,
gets out. You're like,
yeah. And he realizes this can't happen right now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no. We're impersonators.
yeah.
We're impersonators. We play the president, the first lady.
And he does the thing. And what is it like? The sun will come out.
Yeah. He goes this whole pitch about the events they do, and they say, we do a great musical number. Oh, the sun will come out. And they start singing that song from Annie.
And we're all road till there's none.
One of my favorite lines is in this, and I think that I'm so bummed I didn't think to use this before we did this movie, but it would have been one of my quotes, which is where he's he's singing, and Sigourney Weaver's next to him, and you can tell like it's sort of working. He's getting them out, like there's a small crowd is gathering, and she's absolutely bewildered, doesn't know what to do, and he's like, oh, the sun will come out tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar that. And as he's doing this, the cop like slowly lifts his flashlight up to right on his face, and it hits him right in the face. He goes, bet your bottom I'm okay, bet your bottom.
I would never have gotten that ever.
So it's always stuck with
And
me.
he's singing it and
Where
singing it.
He's really going, and he looks to the cop and goes, I'm okay. It's such a wonderful moment.
Tomorrow, and then she chimes in. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow,
Yeah, and he looks at her with like so
we're
amazed.
only a day away.
Tomorrow, I love you.
And by the way, I can't sing, but that's actually how she sings.
She
It's like
sings,
she's
she's not
awful.
great. She's just.
Oh, it's so
And then
awkward.
the crowd is gathered as they're applauding. Everyone's applauding. He goes, oh, and he goes, and he says, Mr. Kovak, I'm not going to give you a ticket. I think you need to keep all the money you have.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. Keep all the money we have, he says. He says, why don't you step over here for a second? He steps over and he goes, now listen, you're very good, but she needs a lot of work.
And she hears it too, and she's like, she rolls her eyes. She's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
What a great scene. And I wish I knew, I should have looked it up if that was in the original script, or if that's such a great comedy, that's such a big, such a great set piece in this movie.
Do you
know what a set piece is?
Is it like a framing device?
Here's a little bit of Hollywood lingo.
Is it like a cute?
In a film, when there's a big memorable scene or a big action sequence, they call it a set piece. A memorable sequence in the movie, a set piece. What
What are you doing?
This is my radio, DJ boys.
That's not good.
Oh, what do you know about it?
You sound like a Slimer.
You ain't know nothing. What?
You sound like that snot bubble
Slimer
from that
doesn't-
Mucinex.
Slimer doesn't sound
Not
like that.
Slimer. I said a Slimer.
There's only
like
one
that
Slimer.
Mucinex blob.
Speaking of Ivan Reitman, another Ghostbusters.
Yeah. He's dead.
Yes. Why?
I don't know.
So
I watched a sad documentary about Robin
enough.
Williams last
Enough.
night.
No, we're not getting out of the Robin Williams thing
I'm
right now. We're
not.
going to talk about this. We're getting to this movie.
Thinking about
damn
mortality.
it, with all the technical difficulties. We've been here for 18 hours.
I love
Dave makes her a sandwich. They're having a night picnic looking out at DC. Then she finds out he runs a temp agency, and he says, I liked helping people that I haven't. Oh, she asked what he liked, about what he being the president. He says, I liked helping people that I haven't met before because of what he did, with the budget thing and all that stuff. And then she's falling for him. Mm-hmm. And then she says, what would you do if you were still in there? And he says, lots of things. And she's in love.
She loves him.
And then they go back to the White House. The guard is surprised. He pulls up. He's like, oh, you can't park here.
Oh, Mr. President. That's all I got.
And he says, he's like, sir, how did you get out? And he starts to explain. And Sigourney Weaver just says, the president wanted some ice cream.
And no.
Why are you pointing at me?
She says,
don't point your finger at...
She says, the president wanted some ice cream. But that also reminds me of, later we'll go for ice cream.
Later we'll go for ice cream. And then we have Bonnie
Please take
Hunt.
this off my head. Love Bonnie.
Bonnie Hunt. Love Bonnie Hunt.
What was that movie? There was a show she was in with Jonathan Winters in the 90s. Remember? I love that show. No clue what it's called.
Davis Rules, maybe? Was that what it was called?
Where did you pull that out of?
My buttocks. So Bonnie Hunt,
show.
Which she, by the way, is in just this one scene and is absolutely memorable. I've never forgotten it. And we're walking and we're walking and we're stopping. She's so good. Oh my gosh.
Doesn't she say, she's like, and that's the White House chief of staff.
Yes.
Or I might be pulling that from the West Wing when Toby Ziegler went.
Enough about the West Wing. Enough about it. Anyway, so Bonnie Hunt is a tour guide. She's leading a tour through the White House, and she said, we're walking, and we're stopping, and she's hilarious. She's nearly run over by Bob, who is doing an incredible fast walk through the White House because he's pissed because Dave...
It looks like a poop walk.
It does. It sort of looked like he has to go to the bathroom. Dave called a press conference.
Yeah.
And then he walks in and he screams at Dave. He says, you're linked. You're a flea. And then Dave says, you're fired.
And
he's like, fire me. And then, this is great. This script is so well structured, I think. Like, it is always moving. There's always conflict. Someone's always winning these scenes.
Yeah.
Everything's always moving forward.
Ding.
Subplots are left and right. Alliances are... It's really, really well-written script, I think. Yeah. So, like, there's never, like, a boring moment in this. It just keeps moving. It's so good. And so right as, Bob's about to be furious and possibly stab him to death, in walks Sigourney Weaver. And she's like, honey, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
And like, it's like, and this is what I mean about the structure. It's like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, that alliance tops you, Bob. Now the first lady knows, and you're in trouble. And he has no power. And so he said, as the president takes the first lady's arm, he says to Bob, I expect your resignation on my desk when I get back.
Oh,
it's so nice. So Bob realizes he's been played. He leaves. Dave gives a speech about the way the country is, and he's decided he wants to have his jobs initiative. Anyone who wants a job can have one, and the press is freaking out.
But...
And then, what?
Go.
Well, then we meet the vice president.
Oh, whoops. Never mind. Okay. I jumped ahead.
Okay.
One of my favorite parts, Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, we meet Ben Kingsley. He's got things from Africa, from his African Goodwill tour that they sent him on to get rid of him.
He comes in with the crazy mask and all these cool, well, not crazy, it's really cool, amazing stuff, but coming off of the story that he's a little bit loopy, you're like, oh my God. He has like a spear.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way, but I don't thought because they've sent him on this African Goodwill tour to get rid of him so they could frame him for this thing. And you get the sense that they're not close, the vice president, the president, if you didn't already know it. Yeah. And then Ben Kingsley has he's this really, you can tell he's a good man. He's reserved. And he just says something like, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I've always tried to be there for you. But, damn it, Bill. Why would you do this to me or whatever? And he's like, do what to you?
He has no idea.
He has no idea. He's like, this whole First Liberty thing, and that's when he first gets wind of it. So he goes to Alan, and Alan tells him what was going on. He explains about the First Liberty scandal. It's been pinned on the vice president so that, all this kind of stuff happens. So then Bob was holding a press conference. Is that what you were thinking?
No.
Okay, so then Bob holds his own press conference saying that Bill Mitchell is responsible for the First Liberty scandal, the president himself, and he has documentation saying that the president was responsible and behind the First Liberty scandal. So he's throwing it right back in his face, and now, of course, we have all the press talking about impeachment and all this kind of stuff. And then it's at nighttime. At nighttime, the VP comes in to see the president. Dave invites him to
talks
stay.
to him about his wife and stuff.
Well, he asks him how he started, and he has this whole great story about he was a shoe salesman.
Yeah, which is a hot move for Ben Kingsley.
Oh gosh, are we gonna?
Saying it's.
I'm gonna have to like create a theme song for like Jesse's a randy old man. Ben Kingsley, that's a hot story.
So handsome.
Ooh, shoe salesman helping out the ladies. I hope with their footsies.
Pepperoni pizza, please. Shaken, not stirred.
Okay, he didn't say that.
I know, but it's. I want to talk about the movie poster.
So then Dave invites him to stay. Shoe salesman story. It's a great story. Yeah.
It is a great story.
Yeah.
And he's so caring and thoughtful. And obviously, it's probably the first. It must be just interesting to see how people approach the world. I'm just saying, do you have a conversation with someone you think is you don't know that they're two different people, but that someone could be that cold and icy and care absolutely nothing about anyone else, and then that he's just so thoughtful and empathetic.
Are you talking about Ben Kingsley as an actor playing two different characters right now?
I'm
Is that
saying
what you're talking about?
It's just interesting, like just people.
Are you talking about
just people?
Two different characters? Are you talking about him in sneakers and him in this movie? Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's. Okay, I'll bring it back. The vice president, I'm sure, was like, whoa, this guy is full of empathy and kindness. And that's nice. Maybe at that time, he thought, I'm seeing a whole other side of you. You've changed, when really it's a
when they're
different
talking
person.
in this scene.
Yeah,
I mean, they're clearly connecting.
All right, this is going on too long.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then it's Dave and the first lady on the balcony, and it's a very simple scene. It's great. I love this scene. So well directed again. Perfectly acted. Dave, they're on the balcony together, looking out and the White House, and he just turns to her and says, "The VP is a good man, isn't he?" Mm-hmm. And she looks at him, and you can see she does it so well, where it's like she gets it what he's going to do.
Yeah,
it's like she understands what's about to happen, and she just says yes.
I didn't pick that up, but yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's like I think. She's smart enough to know that...
No, it makes sense that she would just be like, yes, he is. But she's like, yes.
She looks at him and it's like she realizes like, I see what's going to happen now. Yeah. And it's really lovely and it's so well directed.
You're right. Yeah.
So then Dave's convened a joint session of Congress. Bob is simultaneously having a party, which we find out because he's got some posters that someone brings out that he's going to be running for president. Yeah. Because he's sure that this is going to take the president and take Dave down. So Dave comes in, he sets the record straight, and he says, "I've been accused of all these things, and let me say this right now, as they say, the buck stops here. I did it." Not only that, I have all this, he's like, I did it. I am fully responsible. The vice president had nothing to do with it. He's a good man we tried depending on him, blah, 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 blah. He's like, but that's not all. I have all of this, he has this big file, big like box of files. He's like, that proves that not only did I do this, but that Bob, whatever his last name is, I can't remember, Frank Langella had full knowledge in some cases, did these things himself. And basically throws him under the bus too, so that he'll never run. And then it cuts back to Bob's party, and everyone's gone from the party, and it's just him alone. Bob Alexander. Bob Alexander is also guilty, and so he's just sitting alone in this party now that was packed before. So his career is completely over as well, which is great. He gets his comeuppance, and then you're wondering what's going to happen. He gives this whole speech about how the president, and this is again right now, who he says is, I ought to care more about you than me. I ought to care about what's right instead of what's popular. And I swear, it's like, that's a message I would love to play for both parties right now and let them sit down and listen to.
And it's also worth noting that it's nice to know that in a world where Bob Alexander, the bed, that his career in politics must be over.
Yeah,
because he's been accused of something so terrible that he's finished.
Yeah,
he's finished until dun dun dun. Yeah, the next thing.
Yeah, then the president goes, "Yeah, I did all that," and the Congress is like, "That's okay." Go back on, be president. I mean, come on.
That's actually not what I was saying, but same thing.
Is that not what you were saying?
No, because I like Dave. I was focused on him. I was saying.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that in theory, that's Bob Mitchell.
Yeah.
And the Congress, we're saying the same thing.
But you wish the real bad guy would just drift off into nothingness.
Sure do.
All right.
I ought to care more about you. And so then he says all that. And then, of course, he passes out I remember the first time I saw this, I was
No.
like, oh no. And then I was like, I don't know how old, 93. I mean, I wasn't young. I was probably 12 or 13 when I saw this, but I was so naive. I was like, oh no, he's in trouble.
Kind of like thinking they're two different people.
No, I realized that it was the same actor who was playing two
I
roles.
always knew it was the same
And
person.
not in a scene in himself.
Just-
not that I'm saying Kevin Kline isn't
were
a good
just
enough
so
actor. He
good.
could physically separate.
Yes.
So anyway, so the ambulance, so he passes out. Everyone freaks out. The ambulance is driving, and there's a great shot. He passes out, and it cuts to Sigourney Weaver, and she's just been watching on TV at the edge of her bed, and she just stands up very calmly and puts on her bag.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, oh, right.
It was
I
like,
got
you
it.
know,
And so
all planned.
So the ambulance is driving there. The camera pulls up, and the ambulance stops from the hospital. Bill Mitchell, he comes out, has Kevin Kline on the stretcher, and they wheel him inside on the gurney. Ving Rhames is like, go, go, go. And the camera stays with Ving Rhames as it follows him. It's a great shot, tracks him around the side of the ambulance. And it goes to the front of the ambulance as he gets in, and then it pans over, and Dave is there, and he goes something like, did it work or whatever? Or he just kind of smiles at him and everything. And you realize, if you haven't realized at this point, like, oh, it's the switcheroo.
Yeah.
He really had the stroke this time. And then, I have here, it says, awesome seeing everyone's reactions to a good man and a good deed, which I don't know whose reactions I'm talking about here, but I remember thinking like being I'm surprised because I'm so not used to seeing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm so not used to seeing people doing good things and feeling good and wanting to do good. I don't know.
And wait, here's a question. Sorry,
What?
not to interrupt that deep and
We're
thoughtful
almost
thing.
done.
I know, but game. But shoot.
God.
When does the president die in the movie? Like,
Can you just hold the... I mean, just hold the
not die?
phone. We're almost there.
okay. I thought he already died.
Oh my gosh! So anyway, Sigourney arrives, and then and so Dave. Oh, before I'm sorry.
Oh, he doesn't. He's just the got it. Okay,
No,
sorry.
He does. My God. So Dave, there's this great scene. So he's in the ambulance, and Ving Rhames is there, and he's like, "Well," and he holds out his hand, and he shakes his hand, and he's about to get out of the ambulance, and that's when Ving Rhames says, "Hey, Dave." What does he say?
I would have taken a bullet for you.
Yeah.
Is that not it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really it's perfectly.
And he just smiles at him with that
It's
Kevin
perfectly
Kline
delivered,
smile,
and
right?
Kevin
Like,
Kline just smiles at him, and he gets out and he starts walking. He's got a baseball cap on his bag, and he's walking up, and and Sigourney Weaver arrives, and she gets out of the hospital. She's facing the hospital, and then turns around towards the camera. It's looking at her, and then she looks up and looks in the distance, and you see Dave in the distance, kind of walking up as he's sort of lit by some crazy light somewhere. It's this like hero shot of him disappearing quietly into the distance, and she's in love with him and all that. And then there's a montage where it explains that the stroke was really bad. It hit at this time. And then there's a time passage. It's like, President Mitchell passed away at such and such an hour. He's been laid to rest at Arlington Cemetery. And then the vice president is being sworn in. And that's where Jason Reitman is, I think. Probably the two Reitman kids are probably there. I'm assuming it's his kids. And then Mitchell dies. Nance is president. Nance continues the jobs bill, which is the initiative that Dave said. And then there's the last scene, which is we go back to the employment agency, and Dave we see is running for councilman, which is how he learned Ben Kingsley started as a shoe salesman. He ran for councilman. That was his first step. And so he's running for councilman now, and it's all busy and everything. And he says, but he's still, it's like Faith Prince is there, who works, she's the actress who's playing his I was talking about in the article, who got a better write-up than anybody else in the movie. She's there running the campaign, but Dave is on the phone still trying to get someone a job. And he's like, and it's Monday, and everybody works on Monday.
It's a Monday.
It's a different day. That's the whole point. Is no matter what day it is, he just says everybody works on that day.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
Yes, you are.
Wow.
So Dave, he's running for councilman, and as he says that, he gets someone a job. He goes, or Lucia, or maybe that's the one in the beginning. I can't remember, but whatever. He says, you're working because it's Monday, and everybody works on Monday. And he stops because Sigourney Weaver has come in.
Yeah.
And she's in a baseball cap and like dressed down, and I think Faith Prince had seen her or something, and she's like, "Do you want to volunteer?" She's like, "Oh yes, I'd like to volunteer." But he sees her, and everything stops, and he walks over to her. And I can't remember what he said, but he's just like, "You look great," or whatever.
Yeah. He's like,
And she goes,
I heard you
"Thanks."
find people jobs.
I heard you find people jobs. Yeah. It's like the best shot of the movie is right there. Do you know what it is? Do you remember this? It's such. It's so great.
Oh, Ving Rhames.
No.
Oh.
No. It's they're looking at each other. It's like close-ups, and then this cut where Charles Grodin just kind of like eases into frame, and he's just like staring at her because he knows who she is. And then he's like, oh, sorry. That classic Grodin.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh. It's that
Literally
same thing. It's
saw
like
it yesterday.
she saw a rat and she relives it. Do you remember that?
No.
What? Oh, that's one of mine today then.
What?
You better think about it. So anyway, he does he does so much with barely a look. So they kiss. They go into his office and they kiss, but the blinds are open, so they close the blinds.
Oh.
But then, they close the blinds as they kiss, and then who steps in front of the door? But Dwayne, maybe in a sweater.
We got to find out.
That's where I think he's wearing the sweater.
Oh, that would be so cute.
And this movie's clever enough that I'm pretty sure he's wearing a sweater. He must be wearing a sweater there.
Okay, all right. We got to
I
find out.
don't remember,
Let's write
but
it
it's
down.
like he's got to be. But I love this movie.
It's great.
It's such a fun movie. I love it. It's so, and I swear, if anyone out there is just sick of Policies right now and wishes it was a little bit better, go ahead and watch this movie.
And then cry yourself to
And
sleep.
then cry. And you vote for day. It's like when people we used to ride around with those. What was the president's name in West Wing?
Jed Bartlett for president.
Bartlett for president. They put all those bumper stickers all the time. It's like Dave for president. Dave
I think
Kovak.
I'm still gonna get one
Dave
of those bumper
Kovak
stickers.
for president. I say.
Bartlett for president.
Anyway, let us go into this game, this esoteric movie quote game, the game that we've played through our lives. It's not really a game we played through our lives. We just kind of randomly throw out quotes at each other throughout our lives to see if everyone gets it.
And it's probably safe to say that as we're talking, we say a lot of nonsense.
Yeah,
but you'll definitely notice
for
so
sure.
much.
So much
but you'll
nonsense.
definitely notice moments where we say something that is absolutely nothing to do with anything, and you're like, "What?" That's probably one of those.
Yeah,
moments.
that's one of those quotes. So now we're going to do it in sort of a game fashion. So I already did mine, so let's go. What's this?
Say it again.
I'm surprised. This is one of Dad's favorite quotes. I can't remember if it was a rat, but he says, this woman screams she sees someone, screams. Grodin gets her out of the room, and then he goes, I'm sorry, I think it was a rat. Saw a rat earlier in the garden. She relives it.
Charles Grodin's in the movie?
I mean, I've always, I'm looking up now to make sure I'm not wrong. I heard recently they're going to remake this movie, which is a bad idea.
Well, I don't like this because you've already given hints, and I still don't know. This feels like a cheat.
I might be totally wrong about this.
I don't
You know
like
what?
this.
Oh, no.
I don't
Is
like
he the one that says it? He may not be the one that says it.
I don't like
He's in the movie for sure, and he's probably not the one that says it. It's probably this other guy. But anyway, it always reminded me of Grodin. I can't remember who says it, but the line is, she relives it. I will tell you who's in the movie if you want, who's the lead.
It's no fun when you give all the hints. All right, give me a hint.
I'm just surprised you don't know it because Dad says this all the time. It's truly one of his favorite movie quotes. I'll say this: the woman and the man in this scene, the woman who's screaming and the guy who's covering it up saying she relives it, they killed someone. And then when she sees him alive. And that's when she screams and goes.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I'm not good at this game when it's...
Warren Beatty's the lead.
Oh.
He's a football player.
Oh my God. Heaven Can Wait.
Yes, that's one of Dad's...
That's actually on the list, and then I was like...
That's one of Dad's favorite
my
quotes.
God,
she relives it.
I have not seen Heaven Can't Wait forever.
I haven't either,
They
but
did
that...
remake it. How did you... Wait, you don't know it very well. How come that was one of your quotes?
That
Because
because
you
of
remember that
Dad.
quote. I don't remember
He
that at all.
always says that. She relives. It's not
I
a
don't
rat
think
though.
But you know what? I don't think I knew it was a quotation. Or like I thought he just. I guess I thought it was part of whatever he was saying.
Nope.
All right,
There you
my
go.
turn.
Good.
Tune it.
Tune it.
Yeah.
Not even a clue. Not a bell. Not nary a bell.
Cadence. Tune it.
I like that your cadence
Is
is
the
in
same.
no way different than how you did it initially.
I know.
Tune it?
Tune it. Tune it. Tune it.
What is that?
Tune it.
That doesn't help. What are you talking about? I've never heard this.
What kind of scenario do you want me to give you?
I don't know. What the hell?
Guys,
Tune what?
He's looking for a station on a radio that he would like, and his assistant's searching it and going through the dials. He's like, tune it.
No.
Really? Matzo ball, tarini. Gefilte fish. I don't know the words to the song.
What is this movie?
You want me to tell you?
Wes.
Always. And John Goodman sitting on the hill when he's going to watch the pilots make the drop. And he gets covered with the red stuff, but his assistant's there.
I mean, I know that scene. I don't remember him saying tune it. I think you've seen Always way more times than I've seen it.
Whatever. But I was trying to make it difficult. I thought you would get it.
I didn't hear that one at all.
Fine.
Wow.
Well, this is a really rousing
This
game.
is bad. This is not
Just
good at all.
crumple that one up.
I'm going to tell you, here's from one of my favorites. Not Dick Tracy. And I'll give you the cadence too, because it's going to be tough for you. You have deceived me. There was a different one from this movie I wanted to do, but I forgot.
Well, I can probably do that one too, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's this one. My favorite one from this movie is this. See the tears? It rang a bell, right? Something about that sparked for you, right?
It wasn't Mystery Man.
No. See the tears? I know it's gonna be tough for you because this is not as important a movie for you as it is for me. But we're gonna watch it next week, actually, because I insist. I'm putting my foot down.
I don't know.
Three Musketeers.
Oh, darn it!
Charlton Heston, you have deceived me.
I feel like he says that in every.
And then the king when he's got the falcon. This falcon close to the claws are so. It's tearing into my skin. It's making me. Do you see the tears?
Oh my god, I love that movie.
It's so great.
It's been so long.
I am so excited to watch that movie again. And let me tell you something. I actually was already doing some research on it because I've been fascinated because some idiot friend of mine was totally wrong about a bunch of stuff about it. But anyway,
So you're gonna nerd out real hard.
I love that movie and I am so excited. I can't wait to give a speech about how great Canopy is either next week. It's going to be fantastic.
You should time yourself.
You should shut up.
I'm very disappointed in myself.
Me too. I'm disappointed in you.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
Oh, honey, don't be weird.
Oh, dang it. Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, I feel it slipping away.
Yes, I got a good one.
I feel it slipping away. Oh, honey, don't be weird. Oh, damn it.
You got the cadence, too.
Oh, honey, don't be. Oh, damn it. Oh, honey, wait.
Darn it.
Well, it's not Burbs.
It's not.
No, because that wouldn't be. No. Oh, honey, don't be weird. It's a woman to a man, right?
Yeah.
They're married?
Yes.
Oh,
This is like 20 questions.
oh my gosh. I can almost even picture it.
Oh, yeah.
This is just like the Harry Met Sally thing.
Yeah.
Where I could picture it and I just couldn't.
Honey, don't be weird.
But like their faces were just blurred. Like, oh, that dementia is really taking hold already.
Oh, jeez. I can give you the response, but that'll definitely give it away.
Honey, don't be weird.
Honey, don't be weird.
Oh man.
I think that's the response for the game. Is like you don't want to beat the person because it's not as fun. You want them to struggle and then get it.
No,
it's great.
No, of course not.
That's what's fun. I'm saying this is a perfect choice because you know it, but you're.
Oh yes, what a great choice you've had. Your choice is so perfect.
Wow.
That
was messed up.
I sound like a Muppet. I was like one of those people in the band.
You know, one of my
what's the band called in the Muppets?
I don't know. Animal.
No.
I know.
What is it? Yeah, give me something.
Okay.
Give me something. Give me something. A little something.
Okay, honey. I won't be weird. I'll be whatever you want me to be.
Oh man! I cannot believe I get. I'm just.
Honey, don't be weird.
Oh, God.
Okay, honey. I won't
No,
be weird.
I know. I won't
I'll be
weird.
whatever you want me to be.
Oh, my gosh. They're at a party, too, or
They
something,
are
right?
at a party. They're at a party.
How do I remember all
They
of this?
hate each other.
Of
They're
course,
at
they
a
hate each
party.
other. I'll be whatever you want me to be.
It's the
And if I'm not mistaken, it's like they're kind of like a secondary, like they're not the lead characters in this.
they are the lead characters.
Oh, they are?
They are the
Oh.
lead characters. And the expression of this actor who says, he's very deadpan too. Okay, honey, I'll be whatever you want me to be.
Yeah, yeah. I really thought they weren't the leads, though. Oh, don't be weird. It's so dismissive. Don't be weird.
Honey, don't be weird. She's already embarrassed.
Yes, yes. Okay, honey. Oh my gosh. I can't. Oh, no.
He leaves the scene after that, and I can tell you,
Yes.
I can give you one.
Oh, of course. American Beauty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, honey, don't be weird.
Oh, that's right. Of course. I don't know why. I don't actually know what you're talking about in that scene right there, but it just hit me.
The waiting till
It just hit me. Yes. Of course. It's funny though, because this one
We've
is
met
this one's
2 or 3 times.
a little outside of our normal
I wouldn't
thing.
remember me either. I love that.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in years.
That has.
Did I ever tell you about when I saw that in the theater and when they were all there? Never tell you this?
No, Josh, you didn't tell me about when you saw American Beauty in the theater and the cast was there.
Well, I was at UCLA, and this is why it's a bit outside of our purview because I was already at UCLA when this came out. But I was at a free. So they used to in LA, they would hand out. People would go around and be like, "Do you want to go see a movie? Do you want to see? You want to be part of a test audience for a movie?" And they were trained to ask. The one question they asked was, Are you a student in like performing arts or are you an actor? And if you said yes, they wouldn't give it to you. So we all learned quickly to say no. And so we were like, oh no, I'm in engineering or whatever. And they're like, oh, here you go. And so we went to a screening at it was one of like one of the famous theaters in Westwood. I think it wasn't the Bruin, but it was Fox Theater, I think. But anyway, it was a big screening. So none of us knew what it was. No one knew American Beauty.
Oh my!
I think I knew
God.
Kevin Spacey from Usual Suspects and Seven. And so he was doing, and I was like, oh, that guy from Seven is awesome.
What's in the box?
And so I saw this movie. It was so good. I loved it. And apparently it was also the night of the premiere. And so they were like, well, as a special treat, the cast is here on their way to the premiere.
God.
And they wanted to stop in and see what you all thought of the movie. And so Annette Bening and Kevin Spacey and Thora Birch, and I think Thora Birch was there, and Mina Suvari and Wes Bentley was there too.
You did stuff with her too. You were in like...
I never met her though. We were in that movie. But I never met her. I worked. My stuff was really separate.
Oh, right.
But I
Wes Bentley.
yeah, him I met in Canada.
You met him in Canada.
Yeah,
He's so cute.
someone I was dating was working on a movie up there, and I met him briefly. He was hanging out with all the townies.
That's cool.
He was
he's in
a
Yellowstone.
super cool dude. But anyway,
Wow.
so,
See, I would think he'd be really aloof, but he was.
Oh no, he's aloof. What I mean is like he was just like like if you did not know he was Wes Bentley, you would have thought he was just like a dude who like grew up in that town and was just kind of stuck there. Like he
That's
was just
so-
very like, hey man, like just chain smoking, whatever. Anyway, they came into the theater and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Kevin Spacey and that Benny is so cool.
Oh my God.
And they're like, but what I remember from this, there was a Q&A, and I remember very clearly. There were 2 or 3 questions. People were liking the movie. They had a very limited time because they were on the way to the premiere. And then someone stood up and was like, a question, they called him, and the guy goes, so, you know that scene in Usual Suspects when like Gabriel Byrne like lights a match and he's trying to blow out the boat, and then guys just you pee on the flame to put it out. He's like, and Kevin Spacey's like, yeah, and he goes, was that you really peeing? And Kevin Spacey goes, You've just seen this beautiful movie. And your question is, did I actually pee in a movie to put out a flame? I don't remember. And the moderator was like, okay, we're gonna wrap it up. They got to get to the premiere. Thank you, we're gonna get them out of here. And
That's awesome.
And they carted them out, and off they went. And it was like, whoa, oh, hello.
What did the rest of the cat? Oh.
Lights out, lights out.
Oh, stormy weather. I cannot believe that you saw American Beauty and met the cast. What the heck?
Yeah, well, then they invited me to go in the limo with them to the premiere.
That's a joke, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you have a photo of Charlton Heston and Val Kilmer.
I do.
Yeah. Black and white pictures you sent the family of, like,
What?
you went to a premiere, but
I
you
did?
weren't, you were like looking at, you weren't like at the premiere, you were like a looky-loo.
Oh.
And you took some cool black and white shots, and Val Kilmer's in one. I actually took a picture of the picture and I sent it to him on Facebook because he's on Facebook for his gallery. I know.
You
I
took a
heard.
picture of the picture I sent you with him and Charlton Heston and sent it to him.
Well, he's alone
for his gallery.
It's just a great picture of him, and he's walking. And I said, "Hi, my brother took this picture of you 1,000 years ago, and I thought you would like it because you look awesome." Actually, I didn't say that part because of
Oh
but
my gosh.
he didn't respond though.
Okay.
He didn't answer me.
I'm not surprised.
I actually thought there was a chance he'd be like, "Thanks."
No.
He's so low key now.
Yeah. He's just living his life, and being an artist is pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
Did you go last or did I go last? You did American
was
Beauty.
about
You
to-
just did American Beauty.
All right.
So that was right. Okay, so let's see. This may be too easy, but it's fun. Do without the cadence first. This is my art, and it is dangerous.
Beetlejuice.
Yes. It's too easy.
This is my art, and it is dangerous. It is dangerous.
She
You think I
is.
want to die like this?
She is a national treasure.
She is pure.
I probably say this every episode because she's just the best, and I just absolutely adore her. And I don't think she gets enough credit for being just brilliant. All right, go on, your turn.
You're gonna. I won't even finish this.
Come on.
My heart leaps like a gazelle to see you back together again.
Oh my gosh, I've told you can't do sneakers,
Oh,
Martin. My heart leaps like gazelle to see you back together again.
what's her name? What's her name?
Oh
God,
yeah, that's funny.
thought I might call Liz.
Liz, Martin,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Oh God. Oh, Greg.
Oh, hello, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
Elizabeth, my heart leaps like a gazelle to see you back together again.
Tell her to stop leaving. We are not together. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I didn't even get through that one, so I think
Is this loaded? I love that guy.
Too many secrets.
Too many secrets.
God, that movie's so good. When
You
are we
won't
going to do
know
sneakers?
Who to trust? We're gonna.
I can give you a silent
It's
one.
gonna have to be a
This is
two-parter.
going to be, I mean,
We're gonna have to do.
we're
a
going to have
two-parter
to
on that
warn
one.
people ahead of time, too.
Ooh, all right. So I have
right.
my last one, which again will
But
be.
I didn't get to do another one. I didn't even get to finish it.
Absolutely not. So
Come
again,
on.
no.
It's you.
Here's my
You're
last one.
you. All right. Fine.
It's you. You're you. That's your
Yeah.
last one.
No.
Okay.
Wait,
well,
I got another one after that? All right, go.
That's your last one.
Oh, I didn't know I had one.
You had one more.
That's not it then. Go.
Okay.
Damn it.
This one's easy.
Okay.
If I do
You
the cadence.
always say
if I
that.
do the cadence, it's immediately easy.
God.
It will be hard without the cadence. Here we go. Without the cadence. Da. Close.
Fudge. Da.
No, it's not Russian.
Ah. Say it without the cadence again.
Da. It's hard without the cadence. You will get it immediately.
No, I don't think so.
I think
but-
you will.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Da. No?
Are you saying duh or da?
It's a weird
Like
sound he
dad.
makes. Da.
Ah. Oh. Oh, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, see?
Ah.
Oh, da.
Open slime.
I don't know what. No, it's at the beginning. It's at the library.
Oh, yeah.
It's when he's like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah. Ah.
Da. It's just this- I
I'm
don't,
proud of myself.
I don't know what that sound is, but it's always stuck in me. Duh. Jeez. God, duh.
I love it. Vertical book stacking. You're right. No human being would stack books like this. That's before the best line.
Get her.
Listen. Do you smell something?
Listen, I know. When I watched it with Kayla, I was like, do you see what's funny? She's like, what? Totally missed it.
I think it's one of those.
It's hard to miss. I mean, it's hard to get the first few times. I
actually said that, like not that, but like an iteration of that by accident the other day. I think it was like, do you smell it? Like, it was something like that. Like, did you hear that? What's that smell? It was something stupid like that.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Linus farted, and that was the thing.
Listen. What is it? Listen. Do you smell something? Listen. Do you smell something? So good. All right, what's your last one?
This sucks.
I give you 2 easy ones. So my bad. 2 easy ones.
I don't have any. I keep losing my notepad. What the heck was that?
Just being a dog.
I was going to say Ovaltine.
Ovaltine?
Ovaltine? Oh, did I get one?
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine?
I mean, that you sound like you're in the burbs right now.
It's not.
With a sardine.
It came with the frame. That's the best one.
Came with the frame.
Came with the frame?
Ovaltine.
When he imitates him. Ovaltine? I thought you would get that right away. And then you'll say your usual, I haven't seen it in so long.
Well, I don't. You watch movies apparently on repeat for days.
True.
I've only seen like maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. Can you give me some sense of what the heck's going on? For those who can't see, she just whinnied like a horse and then looked to her right like she was terrified. So that's what I have to go off of. Ovaltine. I mean, I hope someone out there knows.
Black and white.
It's black and white?
Yeah, the movie's black and white.
Is this Three Amigos or something?
No. Is Three Amigos in black and white?
Well, the part of it is
black
and white.
If I give you the name,
but not like it's like a modern movie that's done on purpose in black and white.
Yeah,
that we watched.
Yeah, well, if you haven't seen it, like or a recent. Like,
well, it's not Miracle on 34th Street.
Ovaltine.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And a horse.
Well, at the parade, I thought maybe there was like a thing with I don't know.
She's asking
who knows when Ovaltine was made. I don't know.
She asks him if he wants a series of things, and he's like, no, thank you, no, thank you. And she goes, Ovaltine.
It's black and white that we watched? I don't remember any black and white movies besides Miracle on 34th Street that we and the Christmas Carol.
You would consider this a Halloween-ish movie, even though it's not.
I would consider it a Halloween-ish movie.
If you bring up Christmas, you would watch this more at Halloween, but it's an all-year movie. It's not really a Halloween movie at all. It's just about things that subtly relate to Halloween.
What decade is this movie from?
Oh, I want to say 80s, but
a black and white movie in the 80s.
When was Tootsie made? It's not Tootsie, obviously.
Well, no, but also it's always not Woody Allen either. He's the only one making black and white movies in the 80s. Like,
oh my God, 1974. Wow.
74?
I can't give you the name. It'll give it away.
You can't give me the name of what?
Should I just give her a name?
Give what name?
The reason the horse whinnies is they say her name. They say her name and the horse is like... like it upsets the horse. Frau Blucher.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it enough, then...
I have not seen enough. I am not... This is going to be I might lose listeners, if there are any.
Why?
I don't love Mel Brooks.
Oh, I don't like Mel Brooks either. But I blame that on
respect him.
No, I'm sorry. I don't not like it. You know, you didn't like...
I love Young Frankenstein.
Okay, I was going to say, wait, what?
No, Young Frankenstein's great. But I've never kind of gone.
No, I haven't either. And I think
I'm more in like the
yeah, but I also think that has a lot to do with our parents because
Albert Brooks camp. Not that they're related. Albert Brooks, Rob Reiner camp.
Well, we didn't grow up watching those films or those types of films.
Yeah,
like
we didn't.
maybe see
Like Spaceballs was the one I remember.
No, I hate Spaceballs. No one's gonna talk.
I've only seen it once.
I'm sorry. I don't hate it. I love Rick Moranis. It's too campy for me. It's too much.
Well, that's all Mel Brooks' stuff is very campy. That's the sense of humor. And again, I respect the hell out of them. It's just not my taste.
Yeah, me either. But we didn't grow up watching it. It's just kind of like not that you have. This is a comparison, but I love Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. We never watched that movie, and Mom and Dad were like, I still haven't seen
that whole thing.
Just that I don't know that I would get into this other stuff.
Why did they not like Chevy Chase? I mean, I think
the same deal.
I know
like
he's a problematic figure these days, but like, why don't they like him?
I think because of the slapstick, and also he had some like I don't want to say ugly comedy, but they were like he was. I mean, in that movie, he's ogling some girl, and he's just kind of icky. But God, that movie is. I
gotta watch that.
And I would say like, oh, you won't like it because you're an adult, but like I watched it. I wouldn't watch it forever, and everyone was like, oh, it's so good, and I'm like, all right, I still won't watch. Again, I don't want to alienate people, but A Christmas Story, I just can't.
Yeah, no, we'll do. We have to do a thing about that because I can't deal with that one either. Christmas Story, no, I can't deal with it. But that's one if you haven't seen. I'm pretty certain if you saw it as a kid, you probably love it. If you see it as an adult, you're like, what is happening?
Yep.
Like for me at least. I don't know.
No, but okay. So this round was not good.
Well, we had a couple of good ones in there. We did start this episode several days ago. And due to various weather-related issues and whatnot, we are finally wrapping it up.
We'll be
wrapping it up.
I actually thought when I was downstairs, I yelled up, "I'm going to the bathroom before I come up." I thought you were gonna do your song.
I didn't hear you at all. Also, I can't recreate that kind of genius. So Dave is amazing. I love it. It's so funny. I miss movies like that. They're so simple. Simpler times. I just mean, let's not look backwards. Let us look forwards. Let us all look forwards. Would be great. Although we're looking backward, that's what this whole podcast is looking backwards. But we're looking backwards to look forwards and what we can enjoy in the future of things that we saw in the past.
What is that from? That pattern of something is.
I don't know. It's from probably from a lot of things, but you know what else was from? We've never said Dad's favorite thing, which is whenever he would like
he had cards made.
If I'm sure he did, I know. If someone said something that he thought was confusing or he didn't think they were understanding him, his line would be, "I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant."
Now, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Well, yes, that we heard that growing up. Once a week. I mean, it just felt like it was constant. He literally had business cards made up with that on there, which again, a bit of a baller move.
Is it though?
It's funny. Remember you had a friend that had like business cards and it just said like splendid person or something on it?
Yeah, that's a little different because you're sort of winking at yourself, but that one is almost a little bit of like, I am superior to you.
That's true. I do want to make cards for people that are like, your parking is offensive.
Oh, I know.
Why did you do this?
Thank you all for listening. If anyone's still there. That's insane. I don't know what this is going to sound like with all the technical and thunderstorm issues.
Yeah.
All good times. Dave is amazing. It's so funny. Ivan Reitman was brilliant. And Kevin Kline's awesome. It's Sigourney Weaver. I love them all. So good.
I thought you said I love Mom.
Yeah, I love Mom. Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver.
Mom.
I love Mom. And I wish politics could be like Dave.
Yeah.
The part where Dave
Vote
wins.
for
Not Bob Alexander.
Kovak.
Kovak 2024.
Yes, that's it.
Amen, brothers.
That's the one.